15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, that whole Shedeur story was fun for a while, but that's it. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray. Andrew Perloff on vacation, Andrew Bogish sitting in. And, I'm not saying that we're not going to see Shedeur Bogish at some point this year. I think we both believe that at some point the Browns are going to be so far out of this thing that it's just going to make sense to roll the rookies out there. But he's got an oblique strain, which means he's likely not going to start preseason game 2. Then we're kind of into the season, right, where Joe Flacco, as the presumed starter, is going to have to take all the reps, and now maybe Dylan Gabriel, if he can now get into the backup role, that's even fewer reps for Shedeur. And as we get closer to the season, that's when backup quarterbacks, third-string quarterbacks, they don't get any reps whatsoever. So the next time likely we see Shedeur in any meaningful way after this oblique strain yesterday is going to be thrown in like week 8, week 9, week 10, when everything is going to happen, when he's had basically no reps, probably on a short week, or, maybe off the bye, maybe, and he's going to be set up to not look great there. So for me, for all intents and purposes, the Shedeur story is basically over as it relates to the Cleveland Browns. They've got 2 first-round picks for next year. If they're really bad, and if this quarterback class in 2026 is good, they're definitely going to draft a guy high. And I think that's just sort of a wrap on Shedeur's, I don't say rookie season. Again, we might see him again, but I don't know how they're expecting him to actually look good without reps.
So that's it. You're out.
You're
done.
I'm not out.
This is over.
It's out. It's over. Like that. The story ended yesterday.
But Shedeur, and maybe this is the pitfall of getting carried away after a preseason game, is I don't know that he was going to play this year because he was the 4th quarterback on their depth chart, and he was a second quarterback picked in the draft. They seem to like Kenny Pickett a lot, and they have Joe Flacco, and I don't think that Joe Flacco is going to be terrible that he has to be pulled off the field. So I actually didn't have an expectation
that we'd see Shedeur at all
of Shedeur playing. And
okay.
I don't know how else to say this. I don't want it to be as mean as it's going to sound. Is I don't have sympathy for Shedeur now that or if he has to play out of nowhere in week 10 or 12 and he missed preseason reps now, I don't that's how it goes.
I have no sympathy for men.
Yeah, that's just how this works for everybody. So, this is significant because it obviously changes their plans now. And when they had 4 guys, and then they did bring Snoop Huntley in, and now just as Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are flirting with being back, now Shedeur goes out. So they just can't figure out anything at that position other than Joe Flacco being their week 1 starter. I mean, that clearly is where we're going here and where it's going to be for a while. I do have, I guess, I share their frustration in not having any more clarity on the situation, or having somebody throw an ACL and be like, okay, well, now I know these are the 3 guys who are taking the regular season, but I can't follow you on the, Shedeur is over in Cleveland and this is a big deal. It's an oblique injury. He wasn't going to play to begin with, and if he plays at the end of the season, then he'll just have to deal with whatever, tough situation that's going to be for him.
Yeah, it's not even about a sympathy thing. That's what I'm talking about. It's definitely it's a brutal sport. You can get hurt at any time. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that, this was the most exciting thing to happen to Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel, as much as we like him here, fun, experienced dude, was not creating the kind of buzz that Shedeur was. And if you are in the quarterback desert as long as the Cleveland Browns have been, and you have failed at that position in every way a team could possibly fail, you got a little excited about Shedeur Sanders. And I'm just telling you that that's over now. Now, whether Shedeur ever gets a shot really in Cleveland or whether he ends up going to a different team at some point and he ends up getting his shot there, it's just the calendar's against him. The lack of reps is against him. And this just came at the worst time. And again, like you look at the Cleveland Browns schedule, they have a bye week, week 9. If he's not even the backup, right? Like, so let's say Dillon Gabriel now comes in as like the second healthiest person available in the Browns quarterback room. He's going to be second on the depth chart. And then he will get that first crack because the owner, Jimmy Haslam, has said that you got to see both of the guys play at some point, the rookies, in order to understand what you have to do for next year when you have 2 first-round picks. So they will get on the field at some point. But we all know this from watching the NFL and covering the NFL as long as we have. Once you get into the season, which is 2 weeks away, basically, backups don't get basically any reps. Like, you are flying pretty blind, let alone the third string guy who is scout team. So, like, I just don't understand. I just don't know now, like, how Shedeur would ever be set up to be in a good situation. It's just not happening.
So I guess where you and I are different right now is I don't really know how much has changed in the bigger picture of their plans. Clearly missing game reps and practice reps, that's significant. But This is August. If we're talking about him not playing again until November,
right,
the benefit of now will have worn off by then. He's going to be rusty. He's going to be out of sync. He's going to be playing, like you said, off of the being somebody else's quarterback, prepping the defense for that Sunday. He's not going to be throwing to their top wide receivers, their best tight end, not handing off to their best running back for months. And I don't think that if he plays in week 9 or week 10 and he hadn't had this injury now, he would have gone, man, thank God for August. I don't like.
No, but if you're the backup, like he was in the running after that Carolina game, I think he was putting himself in position to be the backup.
Okay, so we're assuming that, though.
Well, he was going to start against the Eagles.
He was going to start against the Eagles if 2 other guys couldn't play.
Well, it was trending.
Which is why he started in the first place.
Right. No, it was never a promotion. It was only because guys were hurt. But it was trending that he was either going to start if Dillon Gabriel was not 100% against the Eagles, or at the very least, he was going to play.
Right. Well,
and now he's not, most likely, going to play at all. And we don't know if he's going to play the third preseason either. I just think it's impossible to even have a track to the backup job if you're going to miss any significant time.
So I still don't believe that track existed. Like I can't imagine a scenario where everyone being healthy, and as far as we know, they're going to be healthy by September, whatever that September 7th,
maybe not
right?
Kenny Pickett.
Maybe, I mean, Pickett's back on the field now.
Doing 7-on-7.
Right, but he's back on the field. He's not
playing in this game.
He's not playing in this game, but he's been back at practice to a certain extent. He's not sitting on the sidelines in sweats. He's not an IR candidate.
Sure.
He's going to be the backup. Shedeur is never going to be the number 2 coming out of camp. That was not going to happen. And him starting last week and maybe starting this week, they were not compliments. Those were not value judgments. And it's had nothing to do with the way he played. He played well, but he also played against a defense not game plan for him. The points on the board came after most of the starters had left the field in that game. He did very good things, but he also showed at times the stuff that people worried about, running backwards away from pressure. He missed a couple of throws. So it was good, and he took advantage of the situation, but the situation was presented to him, and this one might have been this week because he was the only other option.
Right.
And I think people got carried away by all of these things, and even an unofficial depth chart this week that still had at number 4 when the PR guys put that out. That wasn't Kevin Stefanski. And Kevin Stefanski, 3 hours before that, said, I'm not naming a starter yet. I'm not telling you how we're breaking down practice reps. Like, we're just going about our business, and we're going to handle the way we're going to handle it. So I think that you're kind of making an assumption that they were way down the road on this, and now they need to go backwards and pull back from that. And I don't think that's what this situation is.
My assumption, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders, who has an oblique injury. So now, obviously, the any path to him even being the backup quarterback seems like it's closed off. No, this is where I thought there was still a lane and an avenue for Shedeur to be in line for the backup job.
Coming out of camp.
Yes, because hamstring injuries are really finicky, and you have to nurse them. And then when you get back on the field, if they can go at any time. And so to be behind guys who have hamstring injuries is kind of like stay ready. So that'd be number one. Number two, the Browns have botched or tried to botch almost every quarterback situation they've had, including talking out of both sides of their mouth when it came to Deshaun Watson. I don't trust what anyone says because I don't know who's making the call.
Woof, woof.
I think the owner makes the call sometimes. I think the front office makes the call sometimes. I think the coach makes the call sometimes. And to anyone who says they know exactly how a Browns quarterback competition will go or will end, or that they wouldn't backtrack on something or change their mind, bogus. This is not a regular front office here. This is not a regular situation, and that's even evidenced by them taking Shedeur in the 5th round in the first place. This was always weird, always wonky, never made sense from the day 3 of the draft. So to say you know exactly how a Browns quarterback situation, you even a crystal ball doesn't know how a Browns quarterback situation is going to turn out because they flip-flop constantly.
Except, though, they haven't flip-flopped.
Just wait, dude.
I know
the thing about a flip-flop. It happens at any moment.
I know that they haven't, the track record, they don't deserve rational thought. They don't deserve support. I mean, I've got
benefit of the doubt.
I've got no time for them as an organization solely based on Deshaun Watson. But, like, they haven't wavered in this. Like, they publicly, Kevin Stefanski's been saying the same things about this situation from the get-go. And your path to him being the backup was based on hamstrings.
Sure.
That still could be a thing.
Yeah.
So he could still be the backup.
No, but now he's hurt. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that his injury now muddies the water because he can't take advantage, right? Like, if you have to be available to take advantage of those opportunities, and now he's not.
So I think, again, this is where my head is based solely on football. It's based solely on value. Him being the backup for week 1 because the other guys aren't healthy, again, is not a big deal. It's not a compliment. If he was the only other healthy quarterback, like I'm talking about him outplaying multiple other quarterbacks. One that they brought in because they wanted him, and one that they drafted a round and a half ahead of him. And that to me is the path that they were going to stay on. The best case scenario for him was to be number 3 on the depth chart, and that might still be the case because he still might be able to do something soon enough to give them some confidence that he's better as number 3 than Dylan Gabriel is. But, like, other than that, like, he was never going to be number 2 based just on football. And getting to number 2 because of injuries, that's not the same thing. So, like, you can't, if you want to talk, if we're going to.
Why not? You get the job however you get the job. It's about keeping it.
But it's not, but if it's based on injury, once Kenny Pickett is healthy, then he's going to be the backup again. He's not going to beat Kenny Pickett to the backup job based on football in the next 5 or 6 weeks.
Well, but Kenny Pickett is also a guy who does have to use his legs a bit. And for him to have a hamstring injury that so far kept him out for 2.5 weeks and still now is not even doing 11 on 11, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm the crazy one. It doesn't look like Kenny Pickett is trending in the right direction. We'll see about Gabriel. I think Gabriel's going to end up coming out of camp with the backup job, because he might just be the healthiest guy if this keeps Shedeur out, the oblique, for a long time. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So you can weigh in there. I think, unfortunately, it's been fun, but I think, unfortunately, the Shedeur story for this season, this is where it ends. EJ, what do you think?
I mean, I feel like they've always wanted Kenny Pickett to be a thing. So it was going to be – I think Kenny Pickett might still be QB1 at some point, right? Like, I think he's injured. And I think they're going through the competition, and Flacco will win maybe by default because he's the last man standing. But they want to see if Kenny Pickett can be something. So I think Shedeur was always going to have a tough time leapfrogging him.
Joe Flacco?
And then there's a quarterback they drafted ahead of him. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a situation where they're going to evaluate these guys purely on how they play in training camp, or if they're going to say, listen, we like Dylan Gabriel. We trusted our evaluation. We want to develop him.
Yeah.
So Dylan Gabriel, therefore, is always going to be ahead of Shedeur. So Shedeur was always going to be in a situation where the deck was going to be stacked against him. Like, I don't know how much the injuries were going to change everything.
But then answer the question, right? Why did they draft Shedeur?
I think they're idiots.
Well, exactly. Exactly. I hate to do the Aaron Rodgers. Exactly. You can't predict what they're going to do because this is not I don't think, my opinion, I don't think it's just Kevin Stefanski's call about when Shedeur starts, if he starts, all of that stuff. Now, he's going to make the call on the practice reps and all that. Of course, he's the coach of the team.
Exactly.
But if you are asking if there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen making decisions about the Browns quarterback, like, yes, we know that. We know the owner's involved in the process, and that's always business decisions.
But to me, like, I think just like what happened in Carolina, and like I said last week, I think Shedeur is going to get his chance simply because look at the names and the team we're talking about. We're talking about Kenny Pickett, a 5'11" guy from Oregon, and Joe Flacco, who's 40 years old. Like, I could read the room and say, okay, there are going to be bland pills all over the place. The Browns are the ones orchestrating this thing. Eventually, he's going to find a way to get in the game. I didn't think it'd be literally the very next preseason game. But there are going to be other banana pills for these guys to slip on, and Shedeur will probably get an opportunity. What he does with that and how much they value that is going to be up to the owner. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that this is the bummer for Shedeur of him getting injured and having oblique is that once we get into the season, which is going to be very, very soon, you basically have this week, you have another practice with the Eagles, you have a game with the Eagles, you have one more game. Then you're into cut-down day, cut-down week. Then they leave for Labor Day. Let's not forget that. And then you're into a game. Don't forget Shallow. And then you're into a game week. And once you're into the season, you're not getting reps if you're the third string guy, right? Your scout team. So if Shedeur had been able to stay healthy and possibly have a path to the backup job, this is where we all disagree. I get that. But if he had a path to the backup job, at least you're getting something so that when you do get thrown into the fire, week 9 at the New York Jets, week 12 at the Las Vegas Raiders, whatever it was going to be, home against Tennessee on November 30th, whatever the day they have circled when they finally wave the white flag on the season, then at least he's been doing something in practice. It's not going to be a lot now. But anyway, want to hear from you. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476 is the Shedeur story come to a close.
Can you guess how many quarterbacks the Browns played last season?
Oh, goodness gracious.
4.
It should have been Flacco. See, that's where you know that the Browns made a terrible decision. He played well down the stretch, got them to the playoffs, and could not bring him back in because he was a threat to Deshaun Watson. Like, that's not a winning decision. That's not a football decision. That's a feelings decision. So I just don't trust the Browns.
They played 4 last year. Okay. You know, and to me, like the Raiders,
Deshaun, Jameis,
Bailey Zappi got to start, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson played. Right. Like, to me, like, I take away, like, you know, a team like the Titans where they were really trying to evaluate Levis. These really bad teams typically end up running through 3 or 4 guys.
Right.
Like,
but it's not going to look good each year.
Oh.
And it's not going to be based on because he deserves it necessarily.
Yeah, because Bailey Zappi didn't deserve to play last year.
Right.
It's just, saying, we got to throw somebody out there. We got to keep this tank alive.
Western Kentucky legend.
It's not going to look great because if he's still buried on the depth chart, you're just not getting any reps. In fact, you're running scout team. So I guess that's where I'm at. Like,
even at number 2, he's not getting that many reps in practice.
No, some, but not many.
Right. So like he's still no matter how this had played out now, when you fast forward in the back third of the season, he was still going to be coming basically out of like the winter to play with guys he hadn't been on the field with in a long time. And like, yes, now would matter, but I don't think it drastically changes his ability to play well in November or December when he gets a chance. He's still going to be young. He's still going to be a rookie. He's still going to be inexperienced. He's still going to be seeing an actual defense that's been a week planning for him for the very first time. And there's only so much he could have accrued experience-wise now to prep him for that. So it makes a difference, but it doesn't make a huge difference. And it still doesn't, to me, change the overall landscape of the way they were going to go about this. And nothing's over. I almost want to pat you on the back and say it's going to be okay. Like, it's not over. You're still going to get your Shedeur.
Doesn't feel the same. 888-710-4ISN. That's because injuries happen. 888-710-4476. Okay, Shedeur, you're welcome to weigh in on that. Do you think there is a way that he can have another high moment this season? Another high point like we saw in Carolina? Okay, coming up, we got a lot to do, including Jerry Jones. Now I feel bad. You learned some new information, and now suddenly I feel like the jerk. Criticizing Jerry when it turns out he was going through some really serious health stuff.
Get your damn act together.
About a decade ago. Blame Denzel. He's the one who really skewered him. And we have
You ain't been to the show, you wouldn't know.
We have a lot to get to in terms of it is looking very, very bad for one NFL team right now. And a team that we thought could be a playoff team, but it feels like everything is coming off the rails. So we got that for you. So much to do. It's the Maggie Perloff Show. Bogish in for Pearl.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on vacation for another day or so. Andrew Bogish, good enough to slide over to hang out in the host chair. We've been talking about Shedeur Sanders this morning. Oblique injury. Bummer. We'll get more after this because this portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. To me, the high points of Shedeur's season are now over. It turned out to be one preseason game in Carolina. I don't know if we're going to ever see another high blip, if you will, if this was like an EKG chart. I don't think we're getting any more spikes. I do think we'll probably see him again, Bogues, at some point. But how can you expect a guy thrown into the fire, rookie year, not going to be getting reps in practice, in fact, going to be running scout team most likely? You just can't have any expectation that he's going to come in and start wowing everybody. At that point, you are just hanging on for dear life.
Do you have these same feelings for Dylan Gabriel? Because his chances took a hit when his hamstring went. Yeah,
definitely. I think Gabriel now, though, to me, has a chance to be the backup. Because if Kenny Pickett is still dealing with his hamstring injury, which is much more severe than Dylan Gabriel's, you can tell by how they've been practicing, then I think Gabriel does have a shot to be in line for the backup spot. Sure.
It just feels like I used the word sympathy before. Maybe that's not the right word, but I don't know how else to say. It feels like you wanted things for Shedeur that I didn't want. Not in a bad way.
Not me. And every Browns fan who ever thought about rooting for this team. He's the only exciting thing that even existed in that quarterback room.
Well, I mean, Gabriel could have been exciting too. But I don't know. You guys not hear this heartbreak, the crestfallen Maggie this morning over this?
No, it's just a reality.
Well, I think to Maggie's point though, Shedeur, usually a rookie quarterback who's in the fifth round, perform well. Most fifth rounders don't look like how he looked, right? We saw what the guy in Miami looked like, Quinn Ewers, right? It's
yeah.
When you see rookie quarterbacks playing in preseason that are drafted low, usually it's a horror show, and he was way beyond that. So I think even if you had doubts before the Carolina game, I think now you're probably oh, maybe we have something here, and then now maybe it's a little bit of a bummer because you're well, we won't see if there's any more evidence that Carolina wasn't a fluke.
Let's get to the phones. 888-710-4ISN. Terry is in Youngstown. Terry, what's the feeling in Ohio this morning?
Oh, it's bad, and I hate to, come in and talk on your show on such a negative note, but the Cleveland Browns have to be unequivocally the dumbest football team in the entire NFL. If I was Roger Goodell, I would relegate the Cleveland Browns to the NCAA.
Who we bringing up? Alabama?
Georgia, Alabama, Texas, maybe?
No.
Ohio State, right?
It couldn't be the South. It couldn't be the Southeastern Conference because they would lose.
Get those Buckeyes.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe the Big Ten. I don't know, but they don't deserve to be. They don't deserve to represent the brand of the NFL. Now they've had 35 quarterbacks since 2000. All of them were losers, except for Mayfield. Mayfield kind of turned the corner, but But anyhow, my point is,
they got him out of there as fast as could be.
They got him out of there. They was playing the poor boy. He was injured, and he was giving them all he had. But the Cleveland Browns, if they was a lover, they would be a pimp because they don't care about who loved them. You hear me? So
yes.
all I'm saying is that this young man, they don't even look. They're always talking about the things that he can't do. But what about the things that he can do? They're not supporting him, and they made it yesterday. They made it. I mean, they couldn't even dance around it no more. They just gave up on it.
Well, and Terry, this is life of the NFL, right? The injuries, they hit. Sometimes they help you get an opportunity. Sometimes they set you back. Terry, A+ call all the way around. Feel your pain. You think I'm feeling pain? I mean, people in Ohio are feeling pain because this is going to be another quarterback that, to me, is going to go in the dustbin of history, and maybe Shedeur gets another chance somewhere else.
Maggie's arm didn't fall off. He'll be okay. It's an oblique strain that he felt tight in his throat warming up.
It was always going to be a razor's edge to get him a real opportunity, a real shot. And people got mad at me when I said it felt like loaded dice against Shedeur, that they were never really giving him an opportunity. Like, what would he have to do to even get noticed?
Maybe be a better quarterback. And I don't want to be dismissive, but he did not need to go in the 5th round.
You think that was all football?
I don't think I think it was. It started the football combined with the off-field stuff, and it mixed too much, and people overreacted. And he was probably drafted a round or 2 later than he should have been. We probably were too carried away with him to think he should have been the 2nd pick in the draft. And that when push came to shove, and they really try to get down and dirty on what he can do and what he can't do, between the pluses and the negatives, people goes, okay, he's not a 1st-round pick. Maybe he's not a starter. And then we mix in the Dion stuff, the bad interviews, and backups can't be headaches. And he might be a headache. So now we don't want him. And that's why all of a sudden the bottom drops out. So again, like, I don't know. He was never going to be their guy in September. He was always going to play in the back half of the year. That's still on the table. And he's still going to be thrown in the fire. And the reps now matter. But he's not going to. They wouldn't have made him an All-Pro debut in November.
No one's saying that.
He was always going to struggle.
No one's saying that.
But you're saying it's all off the board now.
Well,
nothing's off the board.
I do think so, because there's another thing about this, which is, what are we actually talking about when we talk about developing young quarterbacks, no matter whatever round they were taken in? What are you talking about when you're actually saying developing them? Giving them some kind of meaningful experience about what it could be like to actually play football in the NFL. And that's going to be off the table now, because his oblique injury is likely going to keep him out of this game against Philadelphia. And then beyond that, he's just not going to get the reps, because as closer we get to the season, the more Joe Flacco is going to need everything, the more of Kenny Pickett's the backup or Dylan Gabriel. So the story that had a moment and possibly had a lane, to me, is now over.
So I would relegate the Cleveland Browns to the NCAA.
You got to
get Myles Garrett going back to college. Oh my God!
You got to get the line about if he was a lover, he'd be a pimp. That should be on a shirt.
The Cleveland Browns.
But Maggie, between everyone in the room right now, we have watched, you've listened to thousands of preseason games.
Yes.
We have seen guys play well. You were probably on the air on FAN when, like, Davis Webb was making people get all geeked up here.
Yeah.
And you know what that dude's doing now? He's coaching football.
Oh, Davis Webb will be a head coach in the NFL.
Which is
Mark
great,
that.
but he was never a quarterback after one preseason. So, like, it's just...
He was also sitting behind Eli Manning. I mean,
it doesn't matter. The point is, you can't read so much into these games that if you wanted to see Shedeur carve up another preseason game, I'm sorry, I do feel bad that you're missing that. But Shedeur's trajectory is not over. It's not over.
Quickly to Harrion. Oh, Harrison. We're missing an S. Harrison, how are you doing, sir? In Dallas.
Good morning. I just wanted to talk about.
Harrison. I'm sorry, dude. Your
a lot
your lines
missing there. S's connections.
Yeah, that was Harrison was calling from the moon. Gordon Damer is here. He's got headlines for us this morning beyond Shedeur Sanders. You're welcome to call though to 888-710-4ISN. What's up, Gordon?
Maggie, Andrew, with the Sports Flash sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. I don't know about that. Yeah, July 3rd, the Dodgers had a 9-game lead in the NL West. They wake up this morning in second place in the NL West.
The 2-2, and that's a liner into left center. That's going to drop in. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, and the Angels have the lead. Oh, Hoppy on a 2-2 pitch drilled that one, a low liner into left center. And the Angels are on top. It's 6-5.
Yeah, the call on the Angels radio network. Angels rally to beat the Dodgers 6-5. That's the first time ever that the Angels have swept the season series from the Dodgers. The Padres hammered the Giants 11-1, so the Padres take over the top spot out west.
That's what's
They're playing each other, right? Are they starting a series against each other?
I know it's coming up soon. Is that the next series for them?
Got to double check. But remember the last time these two teams met, the managers almost came to blows. So that's exciting.
I just want to point out 2 other terrible teams. While I sit here post another Met debacle, the Giants have been useless.
The Dodgers-Padres start a series tomorrow. Yes, man.
There we go.
3-game series in L.A.
Meanwhile, who else went to bed last night?
Bogus.
All of us went to bed.
Mets up 6-0 against the Braves. I mean, after all, what could possibly go wrong?
Cracked in the sky to center field and deep. Mullins is back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. He leaps. And this ball is gone. Unbelievable. A grand slam home run by Michael Harris.
Some would call it completely believable.
That was the call on Odyssey Mets radio. Mets blow a 6-0 lead, lose to the Braves 11-6.
Unbelievable.
David Peterson's the one Mets starter who usually pitches into the 6th inning. Last night, he only was, even with a 6-0 lead, was only able to record 10 outs.
Unbelievable.
They were back for 12 innings, and then they weren't.
Unbelievable.
Very understandable. The Yankees were back for 18 innings, and then it was all over.
World Series back off.
Yeah, it's all over. Season's over. Put the season in rice. When's basketball season start?
Not soon enough.
Maybe before the basketball season, the Brewers will finally lose a game.
2-2. Line drive up the middle, base hit.
Probably not.
Christian Yelich delivers again, and 2 runs will score. From third, Ortiz. From second, Frelick. First to third, Contreras. Yelly's got a 2-out, 2-run single. It's another 4-run inning for the Red Hot Brewers.
Yeah, 12 straight wins for Milwaukee. Finish off a sweep of the Pirates 12-6. So as we talked about yesterday.
I know, this is the big news.
This is the only thing I'm invested in. Yes.
Gordon.
The Brewers fans will now get their George Webb Burgers. This restaurant, I guess in Milwaukee, is giving away free burgers anytime the Brewers win 12 in a row. Now,
anytime.
You can't go there today and get it.
Huh?
The company is devising a day where it will come in the future.
That makes sense.
So don't show up. If you're in Milwaukee, don't show up to George Webb today demanding a burger because you heard about it on the Infinity Sports Network.
Wow.
They're going to, I mean, they give away more than 100,000 burgers, so I guess they need.
You're not stocked for that right now.
No.
Show trip to Milwaukee, guys?
But you know, a lot of people are going to show up today thinking that you get the burger right now.
Oh, from Kenosha to Green Bay.
So the other part about this, does anyone ever stop to think, and I'm not talking about this specific restaurant chain, but when you can afford to do giveaways like this, you realize how cheap the food is.
Yeah.
Like the ingredients. Like somehow I don't know if they're going to make money off of this, you get the publicity, whatever, but the fact this is even on the table
But in
goes
their
to show.
But in their defense, you have to win 12 straight games. So that doesn't happen every month. So it is a significant. Like the last time it happened was when
87.
Right.
I think they had one more after 87, but 87 was when they devised this, and then they had another one like 2008, and now this.
And now. So this
right,
one.
But there's not like someone out there giving out fillets if
No,
if the Brewers win 12 in a row.
but
Never happens at the lobster joint.
As we mentioned yesterday, McDonald's gives out free fries if the Mets score 5 runs in a game.
Sure, we
and
know
they could
that.
do that every other day. They could do that 5 times a week. That's a lot of fries they don't mind giving away.
5 times a week for the Mets? Come on now.
Well, it's back-to-back days, actually.
Yesterday.
No, I'm just saying that food must cost 1 cent. Like that's what I'm getting at.
No, but
of course, the preservatives and how they keep. Yeah,
but it's one
yummy.
big splurge. It's not repetitive. You're like French fries from McDonald's probably cost 3 pennies, so they can give away a bazillion every time the Mets score 5 runs. These guys will at least make you wait for a 12-game winning streak. They do it once a decade.
You know that there's some restaurant manager who's just like, oh my God, I got to get this all together now.
You got to have a separate window or something. You can't have these people coming into the restaurant and clogging. You got to just have this like a burger spot on the side of the building where they're just handing
like an
out burgers.
auxiliary.
Yes.
Yeah, you're getting one free burger, but I mean, I'm sure you're not just going there. Most people are not just going to go show up for the one free burger.
No, you got to get a whole thing.
Yeah, and that's where the money comes back.
I guess.
Yeah.
That restaurant manager
George
was
Webb,
the biggest Pirates fan in the entire state.
They got a full menu. You can have breakfast there. I want a blueberry pancake. Let's go.
Why? You're going to have to pay money for that, bro. Just get some burgers.
They're not
it's
giving
free.
you that. That's what Maggie's saying.
I'll take my burger for lunch.
He's going to need $100,000 worth of Xanax to get through all of this, let alone the burgers.
You're
What else
really
you got,
putting
Gordon?
the weighted vest up against it right here. With this burger.
I'll walk to Milwaukee in the weighted vest.
Venus Williams is making a return to Grand Slam tennis. 45-year-old has received a wild card entry to play in the U.S. Open later this month. She will be the oldest player at the tournament since 1981. So there you go.
Gordon, thank you so much. You guys want to talk about Shedeur Sanders? So do we. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Did we already see the high point of his season now that he has an oblique injury and has to be nursing that? Also, we got some revelations from Jerry Jones about his own personal health. All that and more. Maggie Perloff Show. Andrew Bogish in for Pearl today.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Well, the match was set, the crowd poured in. Daly versus Rube, and we all smelled the wind. The band was tuned up, the mics were on, but old Peter Bellotti was nowhere to be found. We checked Maggie Perloff on the airwaves, riding high. Maggie Perloff. Countdown begins at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rose, he's live on the line to show every thought, every sports headline. From sunrise takes to the YouTube flow, he's pumping that beat from Infinity Show. Eyes wide open, countdown sound that sends hits deep like a goal line pound. He don't just watch, he feels the track. When M&P speak, he's got their back.
Three minutes remaining.
Scrolling through the sitting in my room, scrolling through the tube, watching Maggie Perloff, getting in the groove. Found a viewer in the chat, his name's Dalton, I'm Brian. Spitting fire comments, he's the #1 fan. Got his fingers moving, stepping non-stop, dropping all the knowledge, never gonna flop. Dalton, I'm Brian, he's the king of the chat. With his love for the show, there ain't no doubt. Every episode, he's always in the mix, leaving comments for the host, he's got the tricks. Dalton, I'm Brian, he's a YouTube star. With his quick comments, he'll take it far. I've been sitting in my room, scrolling through the tube, watching Maggie Perloff, getting in the groove. Found a viewer in the chat, his name's Dalton, I'm Brian. Spitting fire comments, he's the #1 fan. Every episode, he's always in the mix, leaving comments for the host, he's got the tricks. Dalton, I'm Brian, he's a YouTube star. With his quick comments, he'll sitting in my room.
– 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. Ask you today, did we see the high point of Shedeur Sanders' season already? because now he's out with an oblique injury. And one of the great stories of training camp and one of the most interesting things in training camp, no matter if you're a Browns fan or not, has now been put on pause because of that injury. I want to go to Brad in Oregon because he's got an interesting point here. Andrew Bogish in for Andrew Perloff today. Brad, something no one's talking about when it comes to the Browns. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, the Sanders circus, just kind of the drama every day, kind of like with the Cowboys. The owner of this team from top to bottom, they're a joke. They're right up there with Woody Woodpecker and the Jets. To me, the question is about Myles Garrett. Why he ever re-signed with this team? He was talking about he wants rings, he wants championships. This team couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were only team in the NFL. They're a joke. They are terrible.
You should trademark that, Brad.
I don't know what Myles was thinking of. I don't see how he's going to stay there after this. So, yeah, that was my thing about with Myles.
Yeah, Brad, thank you for the phone call making us laugh this morning. They couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were the only team in the NFL. That's two pretty sick burns that already happened from the audience today. If you were listening earlier,
the Cleveland Browns to the NCAA.
There's been a call for relegation. Now they wouldn't win the Super Bowl if they were the only team in the NFL.
The dumbest football team.
That was our friend in Youngstown, Ohio. The Myles Garrett thing is pretty interesting. And by the way, he's getting called out because he just got cited for going 100 miles an hour. And I know coaches were not happy about that. Like, you pay a guy all this money, you want him to be a leader. Apparently, he really dialed up against the Eagles yesterday in their joint practice. We know how good he is. But
don't forget, he flipped his car once speeding. So learn your lesson, dude.
Yeah, well, they're young guys and they think they're invincible. But I think young compared to the world.
Very well.
So
you'll allow it. Just like a courtroom. Objection.
Yeah, sustained. I don't know why Myles Garrett stayed. And you could say the money, and that's the obvious thing, but you don't think another team was gonna trade for him and pay him? Khalil Mack got traded for with first-round picks and also got paid. And Myles Garrett is 10 times better than Khalil Mack. So there was another team. There would have been another team that could get him closer to a Super Bowl. It is a big mystery.
So I think is one of my more mature thoughts as I got older and acquired a wife and children and
acquired like you traded for her?
Yeah, and like the
first round pick you give up for that.
I was gonna say for a prospect to be named later.
And you have roots and you don't want to move. And because for a while, it was like when guys didn't want to get traded at the deadline or didn't want to leave, they just took money to stay in bad situations. I would immediately criticize they don't want to win. They don't want to win, and some guys don't want to win. But then as I got older and acquired things, I realized it's hard to change where you are. It's hard to move. You don't want to take your kids out of school, have them make new friends. Your wife has this, your family's there. It's a much bigger decision than just where can I go find more victories. So I hesitate to question whether guys want to win or not. And I actually have no idea what Myles Garrett's wife, kids situation is.
I mean, he just had a new girlfriend who's like a skier or a snowboarder.
Yeah.
I've got no idea. So I don't know how entrenched he is in Cleveland, and maybe he just wants to be in Cleveland. But it is a head scratcher to go through the fully produced social media post goodbye with taglines and everything like that. And then just never mind. Let me take my money and stay in one of the worst situations in sports.
What's so good about Cleveland?
Not just a struggling team. We're going to turn this around. A team, as we have been told this morning, is dumber than rocks.
This team couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were only team in the NFL.
Myles Garrett dating Chloe Kim, the gold medalist snowboarder.
Yep.
Yeah, Bogues, I get what you're talking about, but I also don't really, because you sign up, you are a professional athlete. Not everything is going to be awesome about that. We understand.
Yeah.
And, moving your family, you're not moving to Singapore. This is not, and it's also, you don't have to live there the whole year if you don't want to,
So now you're switching, you're not going to see your family for weeks at a time?
You can't. I mean, people move all the time. I understand.
And it sucks.
It stinks. Moving is you'd rather put Frank's Red Hot in your eyes. I understand it stinks, but also when you have means, money doesn't make your life better. It doesn't make you happier. That is true. But money makes your life easier. And, when you have to encounter things like this, when you've got $40, $50 million in the bank, I really can't get that upset if you want to make a career move. People make them all the time.
I'm not saying that you should be upset but I'm just saying what I learned in life growing up is that the decision is not just about sports. It's not always about because we always think that it is. It's not just about, I want to go win here, I can be better here. The decision sometimes is about your family, your kids. Because
I don't think that's this case, though.
That's what I'm saying. And that was my point. Clearly, he doesn't have children, I don't think. So, this was him. I was trying to get to the fact that maybe he only cares about money, that winning is not as important as he told us that it was. But other people, you deserve the benefit of the doubt when they don't want to get traded, when they don't waive no trade clauses to get out of bad situations, or they stay with teams that are not that close to a title, because there's other things that go into those decisions. I don't think you're right. I agree that those things don't apply to Myles Garrett. So it lets us go, well, maybe he only cared about getting $5 extra million out of Cleveland, and he doesn't care that much about winning. So, but other people, the other stuff does matter. And I think we have to I'd have to remember that when we start to crush people who stay in weird situations that we think they shouldn't stay in.
You like it? You think Cleveland's cool? I mean, I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation.
I mean, no one crushed Joe Thomas. No one ever, and that felt a lot different in him staying in Cleveland than this Myles Garrett thing. Because
it's all factories.
He never actually asked for a trade. Chad's in Connecticut. Chad, good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're excellent.
What's up, Chad?
What's on your mind, pal?
All right. So I just woke up, and you guys were the first thing that popped up on my feed, and I'm just hearing all the doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I just don't like the energy and the vibe.
I'm trying to fix it,
the
Chad.
Browns, man.
I'm trying to fix it, man.
It's the Browns, it's not us.
I'm not a Browns fan. I am new to this culture and the team and all this stuff, because I'm here for Shedeur, like 90% of the people are, as we all can see. Everybody's rooting for the kid.
Yeah.
We all know what we saw in college. Yeah, he had some flaws with the way that he played, but let's be honest, the Colorado O-line and their running game were non-existent, so he threw for over 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns with literally nothing. He's fine. He's working on himself. I see a bunch of improvements on his mechanics and just pretty much the way that he played the game. Like, if you saw the game and you're a Browns fan, everybody was excited. We're all excited. The injury is more of a precaution than an actual injury. It's not like, oh, he tore his oblique.
Sure,
it's
sure.
like,
well, we
hey,
don't
I woke
know
up
exactly.
this morning.
Yeah. We don't know the
They
severity,
came
but
out and said it was a strain.
It's a strain. It's going to keep him out for a while. You're right, Chad. He didn't have his arm amputated. I totally understand that. Also, he did have something at Colorado. He did have Travis Hunter. So, but you're right. This is where the Shedeur story is so fascinating, because nobody thought he played like a fifth-round pick. Football-wise, we thought he was better than fifth round. Then he gets an opportunity. He does look pretty good. He's not perfect in the preseason, but he does look pretty good. If you had said that's a late first-round pick or a second-round pick in their first preseason game, nobody would have batted an eyelash. And the thing is, Chad, he's just running out of time. Like, that's my biggest thing with where Shedeur is right now. If he ever was going to make this quarterback competition interesting, now the oblique is a setback where he's running out of time to prove himself.
Well, let's ask yourself, was he really given an opportunity to win this competition?
Right.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He never was put in a position to win it. So pretty much what happened with the injuries from Kenny and Dylan Gabriel,
right,
who they're just trying to force down you Browns fans, which is unacceptable. I don't understand why we're trying to force. Why is a 5'8", 5'10" with cleats on quarterback trying to be pushed so hard? They obviously have their agenda.
Yeah.
They obviously have their reasons to why they want Dylan Gabriel to succeed. And guess what Shedeur having an oblique strain does? It puts all the pressure on Dylan Gabriel and all the pressure on Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah,
all
Chad,
the pressure
I'm sorry,
on Dylan. It's not
we're
on
up against
Shedeur.
it. Great call. I never thought that Shedeur was going to win the job. But becoming the backup, I thought there was a lane. And I'm saying not that he got the opportunity because of injuries, but then we know in the NFL, Bogues, it's all about what you do when you get that opportunity, and it had looked pretty good. Okay, you're welcome to keep them coming on Shedeur. 888-710-4ISN. Coming up, what is going on in Miami?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Second views, scrolling through, he's got no time to lose. Maggie and Perloff, Daily's keeping score, YouTube's his love. He's begging for more, double tap, clicking on that video. From sunrise to sunset, he never lets it go. Maggie snappy, Perloff's got a glow. Daily's hooked, he's looking for the show. Chasing trends, Daily's on a quest. Comments pouring in, he's one of the best. From every corner of the internet's reach. Daily's voice. Steady to preach. Steady to preach. Reach it to preach. Living life in 20-second views, scrolling through, he's got pine needles, wakes up at dawn, coffee brewing, screen turned on, he's got a favorite show to see. Peter Bellotti, 5 days off in a row, Peter Bellotti, 5 days off in a row. Every single day, a Maggie and Perloff show. There's someone in the chat.
There's a guy we know. In the air, reached for his razor, didn't have a care. He shaved it off that iconic mustache.
Peter Bellotti, a sharp-dressed guy.
This is it, folks. The grand finale under the golden arches of the stadium.
Hey, it's Andrew Perloff. I'm genuinely impressed with NBC's Al Michaels AI. Hey, it's Andrew Perloff. I'm genuinely impressed.
I'm Peter Schwartz, and I've got to say, the Al Michaels NBC AI. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hav, O-H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even back then you can call me CEO of the ROC. Hovey, fresh out the frying pan into the fire. I be the music biz #1 supplier flyer than a piece of paper bearing my name.
Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck recently?
Let's go back to the
anything
bad.
When's your birthday again?
1 minute.
Let's go back to the fall of 2013.
The divorce papers were barely, the ink was barely dry.
Saying I do, the first time.
Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck recently?
One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. $30 remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Get back to Shedeur Sanders' oblique strain in just a moment, but we got to pause on what in the world is going on with the Miami Dolphins. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Bogish, in for Andrew Perloff this morning. And, you know, Bogues have been talking a lot about Browns dysfunction. If you were listening to the first hour of the show, we had some epic calls coming in. Browns can't win a Super Bowl if they were the only team in the NFL. Browns need to be relegated back to the NCAA. I mean, people are not holding back on the Browns. The Dolphins look like a mess. So they're doing joint practices with the Detroit Lions, as I know you know. And veteran journalists, this is some of the reports coming out of this joint practice. Colton Pouncey, that was the most lopsided joint practice I've ever seen. Lions dominated both sides. Mike Payton, either the Dolphins are really bad or the Lions are just a juggernaut. Not a great day for Miami. More from Colton. Dolphins offense just ran 16 or so plays in the red zone versus the Lions and didn't score until the final play. Miami's first-team offense didn't score in 7 to 8 plays versus Detroit's first-team defense. It was ugly. Lions D is having a day.
Heads were another day closer to death.
Yeah, I think that's your concern right now.
I mean, Mike McDaniel, this is bad. And I've got more for you. This is a Lions linebacker. His name's Grant Stewart. He played for the Buccaneers for the last couple of years. So they've been doing joint practices against the Dolphins during the Mike McDaniel era. Now he's playing for the Lions. Here's Stewart, again, the linebacker, saying the Dolphins just don't look ready.
I don't know if they're ready, man. I'm going to keep it a stack. Just because I've played at other places and played against that team last year, and I've joined practiced against that team twice when I was in Tampa. And I don't know if they practice how we practice. So I'm excited to see our guys for sure. And I'm excited to get out there, do something against somebody else where they don't know every in and out of what we're doing and stuff. Exactly. So that'll be cool, man. It'll be dope.
Okay, so that was leading into the practice. This is the assessment after the practice yesterday, again, from Grant Stewart, a Lions linebacker.
No, not really. I just be focusing on us. You know what I'm saying? It's about us. And, we'll be frustrated if they get any first downs. You know what I'm saying? So that's, our goal tomorrow. It's our goal every play to make a stop. You know what I'm saying? So there was times where we didn't. And, even though we maybe had more stops than not, we want to stop every time.
Yeah, and here's Tua Tagovailoa, obviously the Dolphins quarterback, saying the offense could not get anything going against the Lions.
In regards to what we wanted to do, what we said we wanted to do, came out, and we just weren't able to get things jump-started. So that was very frustrating today.
And it went on from there. Mike McDaniel, I have predicted as the first coach fired. I feel better about that prediction. Not that I, want anyone to lose his job.
False.
But,
great morning. Let's go.
I mean, I don't know. This is not trending in the right direction.
Oh, it is not. Now, you'd still rather be the Dolphins and the Browns, I think, bigger picture. But in the moment, there is nothing good about this. Nothing at all. We haven't even mentioned the fact that Tyreek Hill is living in some form of limbo down there. I mean, there's always a wild card of somebody else getting fired early, but Mike McDaniel has to be on the hottest of seats right now because it's not.
You should stand corrected.
It's not just like it's not just losing. It just sounds like what he's doing, what he's preaching, and the shtick is just not working. It's not registering.
And your practice habits clearly aren't good. If you have a linebacker from the other team who's calling you out that you don't practice how we practice, and he wasn't playing for the Chiefs last year, guys. His linebacker's playing for the Bucs, who granted are a playoff team, and now he's with the Lions, another Super Bowl contender. But still, there's not even a thought of calling them out. Like there's going to be any kind of repercussions there. And now, granted, Tyreek Hill and Waddle did not practice yesterday, but the gap shouldn't be that big. And I also understand the defenses are ahead of offenses a bit at this time of year. Bet unders. Early weeks of the season. We all know that. But, is it supposed to look embarrassing? Not for a team that we thought was a playoff contender. This roster is not perfect, but this roster is not barren by any stretch.
No, it's not. They've had a lot of talent leave, a lot of talent get older, a lot of guys not progress the way we wanted them to progress. they were in a bad spot to begin with just on paper. But this stuff with Tyreek and then these conversations and the way this practice went, this is more like a systemic problem, is that Mike McDaniel is not either doesn't know how to do it the right way or is trying to do it the right way, and the guys are not responding correctly to the leadership that he's putting out there, because this sounds like a complete you-know-what show. And I'm a big believer, like, the way you practice is the way you play. And, like, the way you practice tells what kind of coaching staff you have in place. If you're practicing like crap, that means your coaching staff's not doing its job and your leaders aren't doing their job either. And that's this. So this guy's talking smack going into the workout, and then we come out of the workout, people who watched it going, yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. Maybe the worst joint practice anyone has ever seen. So here's two bigger picture questions about the Miami Dolphins, right? Zoom out a little bit, because we can sit here and just make fun of them all morning, but where does it get us? Let's try to solve some problems. Number one, if you are a contender, would you want to trade for Tyreek Hill? I think the obvious answer, Bogusch, is like, of course, yes.
Yes.
But is he actually the guy you want to bring in your locker room? Because there's a question about that too. The older he gets, if he misses a step or, slows up or he's hurt or whatever, now you're just dealing with like the person Tyreek Hill, and you're not even saying, all right, I can look past all of that and I can at least get the best out of him. You're not bringing in like prime Tyreek Hill. So I do think there is a real question if you are, a team that is close or feels like they need a finishing piece or what have you, is Tyreek Hill the guy you want to bring in your locker room? Like, think about that. And then the second, like if you're the Green Bay Packers, or I don't even know, you can name whoever you want. The second question is about Tua, who they paid. But I don't think anyone believes or would be shocked if Tua's career doesn't end in Miami. And I think the question is, Bogues, if the Dolphins have another bad season, is Tua basically going to be a thing anymore? Because now we would have been through two different head coaches. Now we would have been through multiple injuries. Now you're expensive. You're not as young as you used to be. And when you're healthy, it looks great and you can complete 70% of your passes, but you haven't been healthy nearly enough. So tank for Tua and winning a national championship in college and all of that, which was not that long ago, suddenly feels like it's teetering on the edge of irrelevance. And if this goes badly in Miami, my prediction, everyone's getting fired. Mike McDaniel's getting fired. Chris Greer's getting fired.
Yeah.
Everyone's out. And I would not be surprised if Tua doesn't see a third coach.
It's hard to envision the way things are right now that this doesn't happen. Like, it's hard to envision a place where we get to January and they just reshuffle the deck and go towards next year, because they're not good enough to win the division. I don't know that they're good enough to really be in contention for a playoff spot or to like spook anybody. Like, they might be in playoff contention, but is anybody ever going to really believe in this team or pick them to, this, be careful. You don't want the Dolphins in round one. I don't even know if they could ever be in that stratosphere.
No, it's the opposite of that. If it's going to be 50 degrees or below, you're thinking pencil in the W.
It's more likely that the bleep hits the fan and things start changing in season. But even when we get to the end of the year, if they survive all 18 weeks, I still think they're in a spot where they go, this is just not working. Like, this has run its course. It wasn't going to work. It can't work. Whatever it is, let's nip in the bud and move on and try something new. Now, Tua's contract, he probably has to be there still next year. So he's going to at least see, like you said, a third guy in this scenario. But that's another guy who might not want to have Tua as his quarterback, or might have new questions about his health moving towards a new season as well. It's just, it is not setting up well at all for the Dolphins. And I don't see really where you can take this confidently to a positive way.
Haven't won a playoff game since the turn of the century.
That too.
Doesn't seem like it's going to be changing. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
All because Mike McDaniel is too small to be a coach?
Well, that was Perloff's take. That was not mine.
Well, I'm in the chair, so I want to make sure that those things are,
this is the
attributed correctly.
Listen, I've crushed McDaniels. I said he seems more just like an offensive coordinator for life than a head coach, kind of like a backup singer as opposed to the star. I think he said some really silly things, not just the "we're one day closer to death," which got a big laugh from the press corps, and like he's doing that for yucks. But he also had a player the other day who was seriously injured and had to get was getting his neck checked out and his season is over, and they asked him about it, and he's like, no, I think he's going to be fine. Like, what? Like, come on, man. That's somebody's life. Like, maybe
unless he got bad info.
Got bad info, or
which is
didn't have any info and tried to BS his way through it.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Which was a different negative of the organization, that they don't have their ducks in a row. Like, I mean, every coach walks into those rooms after a game and the PR guy or somebody runs through this stuff. Yeah. Like, hey, somebody might ask you about this, and here's the injury report. Like, so if he sits down and that's what he was told, and meanwhile Alexander Madison's on his way to the hospital, like, it's not Mike McDaniel's fault, it's the organization's fault, and it goes in line of why maybe they can't be successful in any scenario.
Yeah, I guess so. Madison underwent season-ending neck surgery
that night in Chicago.
Really serious, really serious. And I guess if I'm a coach, I say nothing as opposed to, and by the way, like, as opposed to like, no, I think he's going to be okay when he's at the hospital having neck surgery. And on top of that, to me, it's not like, did the PR people give him bad info? Are you asking about him? Like, you say, these coaches love to say, hey, these guys are more than just, pieces on a chessboard, or we're like a family around here. We really want to get to know these guys. And, and make this about, who's the person, like Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin. They're having all these conversations just about life, not even about football. It just feels like it's transactional. Like, you've got to seek out the information. I don't think a PR person was like hiding stuff from Mike McDaniel. I guess I can't let him off the hook like that. So this is just all bad. But the question really to me is about Tua moving forward. And if it's another bad season, does he actually have a chance to resurrect his career? Because the Miami stuff has been pretty much a disaster.
I mean, he's always going to have a chance, I think, because he's not going to be, he's going to find work, whether it's in Miami or somewhere else. So it's not like over, but it's running out of time in Miami for this setup to work. I mean, their days are numbered in the collective group that's down there right now.
I'll be honest. Like, if I was a team and Tua became available, he wouldn't be on my board to even consider bringing in.
He's not a good backup candidate, because backups you want to be healthy. Like, if heaven forbid something happens to the starter, you at least want your backup to be able to finish out the season.
And even if I was bringing him in to potentially be a starter, I still don't think I would consider him. His health risk to me is one of the biggest red flags in all of the NFL. Like, maybe it's because we've just seen it. It's been so exposed to us, but we have seen Tua be carted off the field and in Fencer's position multiple times at this point. It feels like he could be one hit away from his career being potentially over. I find this thing extremely fascinating, because if Dolphins decide, okay, we're done with him, how many teams really do line up for this guy? Because I know desperation, especially with the quarterback position, brings different bedfellows, but this guy is a serious health risk. And if you're really trying to turn your team around, or you're in a situation where your quarterback position is that poor where you're willing to consider Tua Tagovailoa, I think you're in bad shape, because I just don't know what his future is going to be.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We got two questions about Tua's future and then about Tyreek Hill. Like, there's a possibility at the trade deadline this year, if the Dolphins are out of it, he's going to be like probably the number one, person available. Odell Beckham Jr. did this at the trade deadline a couple years ago, leaves Cleveland, goes to the Rams, gets hurt in the Super Bowl, but was a big factor in their playoff run.
Yeah.
Could Tyreek Hill have that kind of impact? It's just you're bringing in somebody who's got a lot of baggage.
Or why not do it now? Like, why not do it as a message to the room or to alleviate a problem? Because I don't know how much you and Perloff talked about it. I was surprised that it didn't get more traction, at least when I was trying to pay attention to it. But when Tua said at the beginning of camp that Tyreek still had like bridges to repair and earn our trust back for the way last season ended, I thought it was a pretty significant comment. We don't always get that much honesty, especially from like star to star. Usually they're kind of delicately covering for each other. Things happen behind the scenes, but for Tua to say that into a microphone, I thought that was a pretty significant sentence. So I don't know where Tyreek's not practicing right now. Clearly, things are not perfect across the board, specifically with them. So if they need a kick in the butt and to be reminded of, okay, everyone's job is not secure here. We've got to do what's best for us, or for whatever reason, he's creating still tension in the room. Why not pull the trigger on a move like that now and try to see if it gives you any kind of positive bump for the beginning of the season?
Yeah.
Not as you're just, you're playing out the string and you have no other choice but to get rid of him.
Yeah, either there's two answers to that. Either they think they're a playoff contender, so they don't want to get rid of their best offensive weapon, or two, they're not sure that that's going to do what you think it's going to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is it going to make guys check out? And again, that goes back to the head coach. Let's not forget, this is 2 training camps in a row when Tua's taken shot. Has called people out, not taking shots, has called people out publicly. This year, it was his own teammate. Remember, last year it was Brian Flores. Remember, he unloaded the clip basically on Flores and how bad he was as a head coach, how unsupported he felt. And Tua was kind of doing this weird victory lap. I don't understand it at the time. It kind of felt like maybe let sleeping dogs lie, or maybe just, save it for the memoir. But he wanted to put that out there, and it was embarrassing for Flores, and he had to respond to it. So Tua's not afraid to tell you what he thinks. We've been talking about the Dolphins, and you can weigh in at 888-710-4ISN. We're also talking about Shedeur Sanders. Oblique injury. It was a fun story, guys, but I fear any shot or thought of Shedeur even winning the backup job just took a pretty significant setback. Joe's in San Francisco has a theory about Shedeur. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, he's never going to get a chance to play because he didn't get enough money. I told you guys back in March, man, the only thing that keep you playing pro sports is money. And he didn't get no money. He probably got 10% of what he should have got. And then on top of that, they're not really coaching him. Like, they talking about his footwork and all that stuff, but they not coaching him. They coach their ones and their tools. He just there. So it don't matter what he do, he got to do it somewhere else, man. It's just like when Doug Williams won that Super Bowl, the next year he didn't have a job. And they calling guys from the gas station to come coach, come quarterback in NFL. His phone never run. So they got to do a better job, man, of giving guys a fair chance to play. And right now, the way it's set up, guys don't get a fair chance to play. It's all about money.
Yeah, Joe, I remember, thank you for the phone call. You did say that a couple weeks ago, the idea that Shedeur, I think, was kind of holding back. Was that it? Because he signed a 4-year, $4.6 million rookie contract, $400,000 signing bonus. It's not the money that he was getting. Probably, I don't know if Colorado was he making more. I have no idea. But listen, he's a 5th-round pick. I think the money is got to be kind of the last of your concerns here. You've got to put that aside to think about making the team and making the roster, and hopefully you get a shot.
Yeah, I mean, so his point was that Shedeur wasn't trying hard enough, and that's a pretty big accusation. Also, that he's not being coached. I mean, he's being coached. He's not just on a side field doing nothing at Browns training camp. I mean, he's being coached. There's a hierarchy based on who's healthy and the depth chart about who's playing with whom and how many snaps you get. So that is different. But they're not ignoring Shedeur Sanders, and he's not mailing in training camp over his contract.
Also, I mean, in terms of investment, because even if you want to say, well, they have no investment in him from a money standpoint. Well, Kenny Pickett is making $2 million, and Joe Flacco is making $1 million.
Right.
So
they just are not addressing the quarterback room.
Nobody's really.
Deshaun's making.
Yeah.
40 million, whatever he's making.
Yeah, way more than 50. Those guys, right? So they haven't really invested in anybody. So all these guys really are dirt cheap, which is why they're there, right? Because Deshaun is taking so much of the salary cap with his own guaranteed contract.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like Shedeur was giving his all.
Of course he was.
Definitely.
Of course he was.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was a money thing. I understand what Joe's talking about. If you feel like he's not being developed, I think what Joe's talking about there was Shedeur playing well in the first preseason game, still getting no first team snaps. Afterwards.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it was silly.
Yeah, I mean, again, we see what what rookie quarterbacks look like in preseason that are not first round or second round picks. Sometimes even those guys look really bad. Shedeur looked nothing like that. So to come into the next week knowing that you've had all the reports in camp is that Dylan Gabriel has had struggles and that Kenny Pickett has been okay and then he's been hurt. We haven't seen him in 2 weeks. So the fact that you wouldn't, even just to send a message to the quarterback room, hey, this is still a competition, we're still live here. The fact that you wouldn't change anything, to me, made no sense.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Welcome to weigh in on both the Dolphins' dysfunction, Mike McDaniel first coach fired, ? And did we already see the high point of Shedeur Sanders' season? That game against Carolina, now he's out with an oblique. Coming up, we're taking a look at the sophomore quarterback class. It is absolutely loaded. But not everybody is going to be fitted for a gold jacket. Who is going to be the weak link in that quarterback class? We're talking about Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, the first rounders from a year ago. We'll tell you next. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Ink was barely dry.
Saying I do the first time.
Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck?
Wow, this is incredible. You know,
Andrew Bogush loves Davey, but not just for his 3-point spree. Well, Peter Bellotti's moving on today. He's joining Amy Lawrence, found a new way. No more curmudgeon takes to make us all laugh, but we'll miss that big bracket, your signature craft. Goodbye, Bellotti, with your Bromby style. The John Sterling drop always made us smile. Off to new horizons, but don't you forget Maggie and Perloff's crew will never let you set. You had that Sterling drop.
He's got a plan. From Jerry Jones to Dak Prescott, he can nail 'em on the spot. But wait, oh, where's Bellotti? He's nowhere to be found. Perloff's doing voices while Pete's not around. Oh yeah. I'll never stop, no, I'll never be done talking about Peter Bellotti, the missing one. Day after day, it sure's empty and cold, but I'll keep singing 'cause the truth's been told. Oh, gloriously, you say I've lost my way, but I don't care, I'll talk about Peter all day. You think it's a problem, well maybe that's true, but I'll never quit, got stuck like glue. Thomas Smith couldn't help it, he let it slip. Over took a hit, felt his nuts rip. Sprained his fucking nuts, twisted him tight, but came back in the game, ready to fight. He sprained his fucking nuts, his balls got rents, but still made the play no one would expect. Caught that pass to the wind like a stud, with his jewels throbbing, lying in the mud. Andrew Bogush, the king of queens, shutting through the borough, living his dreams. But while he's ruling with that regal grin, Peter Bellotti's nowhere to be fucking seen. Oh, Peter, where the hell'd you go this time? Miss another shift, it's a damn crime. Maggie and Perloff, they've had enough. You know, so bullshit's
5 seconds
getting
remaining.
kinda tough.
30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Manny discovers GNR. It's fun when young people discover music that's been around forever.
This song was in Step Brothers, I think.
And that's how you know it.
That's
hey,
right.
Listen, however you get on the GNR train, all good. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Bogish in for Andrew Perloff. So,
Wait, when he says it was in Step Brothers, it's Adam Scott and his family singing it a cappella in a car.
That's right, yes.
Okay.
And nearly getting into a head-on collision.
Right.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Trying to think what music I learned from a movie that wasn't just a movie soundtrack. Like, not the Jaws theme song. Like, my kid watches Super Mario Brothers basically on repeat, and he learned that Aha, Take On Me, because it's the Super Mario Brothers song.
I learned about Regulate from around Above the Rim.
Mm.
I was way too young to watch that movie.
We all have those. Like, I shouldn't have been watching that. I was way too young to be
But I love
watching
basketball,
Backdraft.
so-
Yeah. Okay.
Backdraft.
I was way too young to be watching Gremlins.
That's a download good movie, low key good movie.
Oh, it's not even low key. It's just great.
I know it doesn't get mentioned a lot though. People talk about like their favorite movies, but that's a good one.
The movie you saw way too young?
Boys in the Hood.
Yikes.
Low key. I always tell you guys, my dad, I don't even watch a lot of movies. My dad, the Hood classics, I all have to watch. It didn't matter how young I was.
Hardball,
What's Hardball?
the movie with Michael B. Jordan, the baseball movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Keanu Reeves as the baseball coach.
That movie's
You saw that
way
too
darker.
young? Oh, it's dark? Okay.
Yeah, it's a dark movie. Yeah, it's a dark movie. I must have watched it when it came out when I was like 6,
But it's
7
not the
years
last Boy Scout. Like, you've seen that is like, whoa.
Yeah,
what are we
but
doing
a
here?
5-year-old was shot, and I was 6 years old watching it.
Jurassic Park, another one for me. A little too young. But whatever.
Wait, how young were you in? Like 12?
Was it 93? I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And I'm easily scared. These sophomore QBs, not easily scared. They're an amazing looking class. We're talking about Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy.
Wow, Jaden Daniels.
If I gave you the option, because not all of them are going to go to Canton, right? And
at
not
that.
all of them are going to be perennial all
Or get
pros.
statues outside their stadiums?
Or statues, which I'm in favor of. We need more statues.
Pro statue,
Look at
Maggie
that.
Gray.
I know. I'm leading that revolution. Who is the quarterback that you have the least amount of confidence in when we're talking about the sophomores?
Yeah, I mean, it's still J.J. McCarthy. It was going into the draft, and it is coming out. And he's finally going to get a chance to maybe prove me wrong here. And if he does, great for him. But I just, it's oversimplified. I know that, but I cannot get past the fact that Michigan at times didn't want him to throw the football. I don't know how to process that. I didn't specifically hear New York when the Giants were obviously considering quarterbacks and he was on the table. I don't know how to get past that in my very novice, simplified football mind.
Yeah, sure. I know. I think it's definitely an interesting pick, but I've been saying this about Arch Manning and about, it doesn't matter what Arch does in college. It's about where he goes when he gets to the NFL. That's going to dictate what kind of career he has, because it's very different to go to the Rams than to go to the Browns. It's very different. We see what happens with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. It has taken a long time for that thing to get off the ground with a guy who was like a generational talent. J.J. McCarthy couldn't have landed in a better spot. So, yeah, the knee injury, the fact that he wasn't like this thrower in college, but with Kevin O'Connell, with the type of weapons he has, with a good defense, I think expectations are kind of low right now as far as, the lowest they'll ever be because no one's seen anything yet. We have to kind of wait to see what it looks like. I think he landed in one of the best spots. So for me, the quarterback that I think is going to potentially have the biggest fall off or not live up to the potential is Caleb Williams.
What, Sean Payton?
Had the generational label on him, so now the expectations are through the roof. He's landed in Chicago, which is very famously never had a 4,000-yard passer and has never been a place where quarterbacks even really get developed. Ben Johnson is a first-time head coach, great play caller, but so was Matt Nagy, and so was Adam Gase, and so was Mark Trestman, and so were some of these other guys who are these offensive geniuses that couldn't be head coaches, or at least not yet. I don't know. I think Caleb, not just the Sean Payton stuff, which came out in a new book about Seth Wickersham, who said that he was low on Caleb Williams because he didn't process well.
Oof.
Sean Payton knows more about quarterbacks than I ever will. I just think if you mix in the expectations for Caleb and then what he actually has in front of him, I think he has the potential to be the biggest disappointment from this class.
Oh, I mean, the fall would be the most significant if he's just not a good NFL player. That's not what J.J. McCarthy is working off of.
Nope.
I was just thinking more along the lines of who's going to be the worst quarterback of the bunch. And that still he might be number 5 in a group of 5 good quarterbacks. He just, to me, like, nothing screams like top end. Like, there's clearly a ceiling on J.J. McCarthy. Like, I can't envision J.J. McCarthy becoming like this uber starting quarterback, elite, Mike Sandoz, tier 2 next year, tier 1 eventually, going back to yesterday's conversation with Mike from The Athletic. Like, he might be a good quarterback. He might be a fine quarterback. But like, he's going to be good enough to like let Brian Flores' defense cook and be creative. We might call him a system quarterback because he's got Kevin O'Connell and whatever. But I don't know. I need him to prove to me that he actually can do it more than the rest of them. And I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to do it at a super duper high level.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. This conversation is really good for Bo Nix, because wouldn't it have been Bo Nix had we not seen, first of all, he lands in a great place to be with Sean Payton. And people were shocked that he was a first-round quarterback. He and Michael Penix were like very much on the cusp. And now the fact that Bo Nix went to the playoffs his first year, it's like no one's even entertaining the possibility that he takes a step back.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Well, that era's over.
I think he got really benefited from playing for Sean Payton.
No doubt.
Because to me, even if he had a good season and he was playing for a different coach, I still would be like, he may take a step back. Because to me, I almost wonder if he's going to be one of those guys where he's a product of the Sean Payton system. Like, I like Bo Nix. I think he's got some ability, but he doesn't, like Bogus talked about, McCarthy screaming, nothing screams elite to him. Nothing screams elite to me about Bo Nix either.
But you talk about ceilings.
But he's got an elite head coach and an elite offensive mind, so maybe it'll never matter. Or maybe he becomes a Jared Goff where, like, eventually this thing hits, a ceiling, and then the team says, we got to get a real Super Bowl quarterback in order to get over the top. I don't know. Bo Nix is a weird case to me because Sean Payton being the guy whispering in his ear makes me feel like it kind of inflates his value.
Again, this is where I will always bring this back to Arch Manning. It does not matter what happens at Texas. It matters where he goes. And in the NFL, and the Mannings have made that abundantly clear because look how they treated Peyton and look how they treated Eli.
Arch Manning.
Let's get to Gordon Damer, and you can weigh in on this, by the way. 888-710-4ISN. Which of the sophomore quarterbacks in the NFL, second-year guys, do you think has the potential to take a step back? Gordon, what do you have?
Maggie, it feels like since June 13th, the New York Mets have had like a nightly competition to compile like the worst loss of the season.
Yeah, we just did this last hour, Gordon.
Last night, they got another new contender.
2 down, top of the 4th. Braves trailing 6-5. 1-1 smacked in the air. Deep center field. Flying back to the wall. It's a grand slam. Michael Harris to the deepest part of the yard with a big city bomb.
I wanted to let you hear the Braves side of the call.
Bogus didn't even hear it. He's taking his headphones out. He's laying out.
I actually like that call, a big city bomb.
Big city bomb.
That's pretty good.
Right. Even the call on the Braves announcer sounds arrogant. Sounds like it's like needling you, Even the announcer.
You said since when, Gordon?
Since when what?
This Mets compiling bad losses?
June 13th.
I will take all the blame. That's my birthday, so I apologize, Bogus. I apologize that my birthday has led to this futility for your favorite baseball team.
I appreciate that. You're a gentleman, unlike Maggie, who...
Maggie is not a gentleman.
Or a gentlewoman. You've been throwing around the word hypocrite a lot the last week or so, and here you're liking the Braves' call of another gut punch to our Mets?
I mean, it's just a good call. That's all.
Do you want to hear it again? You took it with your headphones.
I want to hear it again.
All right, 9-run fourth inning. Braves rally from down 6-0, beat the Mets 11-6. Braves' biggest inning in almost 5 years.
So happy for them. They deserve it.
David Peterson, the one Mets starter that's given them some length, shortest outing of the season. Season high 6 runs allowed. Mets, in case you're counting, lost 12 of 14.
I wouldn't say worst loss of the season. They all count the same. So, back at it tomorrow, but it sucks to lose a game when you're up 6 right away.
They're up 5 right away the other day, and they lost. That was Sunday. This was Wednesday. There's not many days in between those two.
You're about to crash out. I can see it.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out. They're not making the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs?
Nope. They're out. They're cooked. No, what's gonna get fixed? What of their problems will be fixed to allow them to go on a run to be in the playoffs?
Well, you guys are calling up these new young prospects, and maybe one of them will
give
you
you
6+ innings.
After all of this suspending and smart GM, we're relying on 2 rookie pitchers to save us.
Don't blame me. Blame David Stearns.
I am.
All right.
I am.
Funny enough, the Brewers are one of the best teams in baseball right now, and that's where David Stearns came from.
And the Twins won last night at Yankee Stadium.
Yes,
and the Yankees equally suck as much as the Mets. And I can't say a word because the Mets suck. That might be the worst part of all of this. This would be a great summer if the Mets were winning and the Yankees were playing like this. You'd hate me even more than usual, Manny. And I can't say a word because the Mets are ruining everything.
What else is going on, Gordon?
For the first time since April, Dodgers no longer in first place out west. Got swept by the Angels 6-5. Padres hammered the Giants 11-1, so San Diego takes over the top spot there. Is Nick Pivetta the best offseason signing of any team? 1 run over 6 1/3, his 12th win of the season. He moves to 12-4 on the year. And as Manny mentioned, of course, you have the Brewers who just never lose.
2-2. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Oh, Christian Yelich delivers again, and 2 runs will score. From third, Ortiz. From second, Frelick. First to third, Contreras. Yelly's got a 2-out, 2-run single.
12 straight wins, finish off a sweep of the Pirates. They are now 26-4 in their last 30 games.
Now it's
unsustainable.
It's got to be World Series now. I mean,
this is the absolute jinx. They will knock it out of the first round.
Yep.
Well,
it's the Brewers.
No, I understand it's the Brewers, but look at what's going on with the high spending top teams. Everyone's going by the wayside. So this could be the most wide open playoffs. Like the Dodgers are not doing great. We'll see what happens with them against the Padres this weekend. Who in the National League besides the Brewers do you even have any real confidence in?
Let's say the Brewers and the Dodgers meet in the first round.
Well, I mean, yeah, depends. Let's see how healthy are the Dodgers, like high leverage relievers, who I think 6 of them are hurt right now.
I think Philly's serious.
Oh, yeah. Philly. Okay.
I think Philly is.
And they're a high payroll team.
Yeah, they're playing a lot better. Their starting rotation is phenomenal. They got Durant, so bullpen may be a little better than it's been. They're the team that I think. They're the team I think that scares Milwaukee the most.
Do we think when Perloff gets back tomorrow, he goes, "Hey guys, you hear about the Brewers?" Like, do you think he walks in and tries to tell us how hot the Brewers are because he just found out that they were?
I can see that.
It's possible.
Ben Johnson says that expect the starters for the Bears to play their second preseason game. They did not suit up for the first one. So Chicago plays the Bills on Sunday. So you can expect to see a little Caleb Williams there.
Fantastic. I'm all for it because they need something that looks better to kind of right the ship here, at least on the public narrative, because everything that's coming out of Bears training camp is just bad. So, listen, the Bills play this sort of bend don't break defense. You can put up a couple numbers against the Bills defense in preseason.
Yeah, you can. The Giants did the last
exactly.
time.
See, but Kenny Pickett put up good numbers against the Bills in a preseason game with Pittsburgh, and I think Perloff put a Rookie of the Year wager down on him. You got to be careful. The Bills defense is not game planning for you. So just beware.
I mean, nobody's really
no one's game planning.
If you don't do well on offense in the preseason, that's cause for concern. There are yards to be gained when the guys aren't really game planning for you. So if you're making mistakes, you're missing open receivers, you're not connecting, whatever it is, shame on you.
Let's get to George, who's in L.A., wants to talk about his Rams. George, any update on Matthew Stafford? This is not looking good.
Actually, Maggie, he's fine. I got some inside sources. Yeah, he's going to be okay. The thing about the Rams, guys, that nobody's even paying attention to. The Cowboys and Chargers both don't want to even practice with them. This team is well-oiled. They got a bunch of kids out there playing. And this kid from Buffalo, I think, is it Shane Dolak? I think that's his name. He might make the team as a linebacker, unrestricted or All-American at Buffalo. And nobody's ever heard of him. But I mean, Maggie, this team has a whole bunch of young kids, and McVay. I mean, he's enjoying this because I'm telling you right now, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Rams fan. They're going to be good. Just put it that way.
Listen, George, it's a great roster. It really is. And I understand the optimism, but, I mean, you can't say Stafford's going to be fine. We don't know. He knows, though. No, he's got the inside sources. Right. I get it, but...
He's George Stafford.
But I just... It's alarming. And I did see a possible potential trade out there, at least some rumors, Kirk Cousins. With Kirk Cousins, who was very familiar with Sean McVay, with the Rams, obviously together in Washington, understands their playbook.
You like that?
Just sitting there as a backup to Michael Penix.
Who?
Could Kirk Cousins find his way to the Rams roster? It's not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford would have to be out, though, I think, for them to make that move.
I mean, are we not sure he's going to be out? I mean, Penix
George
has to also look really good.
George has some sources that say he's fine.
And I get it. You have a guy with an epidural. You're not going to take any kind of risks. But you're telling me the first month of the season, when the real, the live fire is going, that a 36-year-old who's got a bad back is going to be able to maintain for 17 games plus the playoffs? That's crazy.
The thing I saw online, I know the Twitter doctors can be, hit or miss. But one of these Twitter doctors said the concern for Stafford is if you're doing an epidural, that suggests there are herniated discs. And if you're talking about herniated disc, that is a situation where one bad hit, the re-injury risk is super high. So even if he gets to a point where he feels a lot better, he's going to go out there and he could feel terrible or take a terrible hit, and then his season is over. So the Rams are pretty much living on borrowed time, it seems like, according to this Twitter doctor.
And they already have Jimmy G, though. So I like Kirk Cousins. I think I'm surprised he's still in Atlanta. I'm surprised somebody didn't try harder to put him into their situation. But is he, based on what we saw last year, is he actually that much better than Jimmy G, who has the institutional knowledge of being a Ram for a while?
Yeah, fair question. 888-710-4ISN. That's a little what's going on around the NFL.
Thank
Coming
goodness
up,
the Giants didn't trade for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Before we leave, though, this conversation, Kirk Cousins isn't playing again in the next, which almost again feels to me like they're protecting him. They don't want him to get hurt so that they can do something with him. So maybe a trade in some form or fashion, whether it's the Rams or somebody else, is not necessarily imminent, but they know that he's wanted by people in certain situations, and they can't run the risk of him looking bad in a game or getting hurt in a game.
888-710-4ISN. Okay, lots more to do, including, we got a little peek behind the curtain of what it's like to be Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift last night. 1.1 million people concurrently watching on YouTube alone throughout. And we'll get you some more numbers after this. What did Taylor have to say about being a football fan, and what did Kelce say about his upcoming season? All of that and more next. It's the Maggie Perloff Show. Bogish is in for Pearl.
And I'll write your name.
Tonight. Ruber showed up with a racket in hand, talking like he's finally the man with the plan. Said this year's mine, been training all fall. Daily just laughed and sweated it all. First serves in and the crowd leans in. By the first few games, it's looking like a sin. Rube swinging wild, chasing every ball, but Daly's got answers for them all. Rube just can't be Daddy, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand's strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. Yeah. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat, Gub's on the mic, Perloff's in retreat, filling in smooth, keeping fans on the line, taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6 love quick, no mercy shown. Rube is already wishing he'd stay at home. Rube just can't be Daddy, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. losing in the heat. Gubs on the mic, Perloff symmetry. Feeling it smooth, keeping fans on the line. Taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Ruby.
Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Ruber showed up with a racket in hand, talking like he's finally the man with the plan. Said this year's mine, been training all fall. Daly just laughed and sweated it all. First serves in and the crowd leans in. By the first few games, it's looking like a sin. Rube swinging wild, chasing every ball. But Daly's got answers for them all. Rube just can't beat Daly, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear. And Peter Bellotti still ain't here. Yeah. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat. Gubs on the mic, Perloff's in retreat. Feeling it smooth, keeping fans on the line. Taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6 love quick, no mercy shown. Rube is already wishing he'd stay at home. Rube just can't beat Daly, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear. And Peter Bellotti still ain't here. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat. Gubs on the mic, Perloff symmetry. Feeling it smooth, keeping fans on the line. Taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6 love quick, no mercy shown. Ruben's already wishing he stayed at home. Rube just can't beat Teddy, it's a losing streak. Doesn't matter if it's here.
Like I'm so sick of running as fast as I can.
Taylor's world, we're all just living in it, especially as football fans. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on vacation for another day. Andrew Bogish is here, decked out in Taylor Swift merch, head to toe. I take it you really enjoyed the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce pod yesterday.
I thought the first 30 minutes or so were wonderful, and more importantly, I have had to rethink my opinion of you over the last, 15 hours. How long has it been? Less than that? The things you're about to say about what you heard and saw last night, it hurts me. I'm really disappointed.
Well, first let's hear from Taylor. So she's never done a podcast before, obviously, going on her boyfriend's pod. And she did want to debut a new album, but that didn't happen until way, 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 way later in the pod. I mean, we were over an hour in. I had to turn it off. I had to go to sleep, but and do some research for the show, not Taylor related. But Taylor explaining what it was like for Travis Kelce to pursue her.
I'm just circling back to New Heights to say thank you for this. Yes. Look at this.
I'm the luckiest man in the world.
child.
It was such a wild romantic gesture to just be like, I want to date you. This kind of felt more like I was in an 80s John Hughes movie and he was just like standing outside of my window with a boombox just being like, I want to date you. Do you want to go on a date with me? I made you a friendship bracelet. Do you want to date me?
Just come outside and meet me.
This is sort of what I've been writing songs about wanting to happen to me since I was a teenager.
They just love each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
They do.
So more from now Travis saying that Taylor Swift's famous Eras tour and meeting Taylor has been life-changing.
Give the Eras Tour credit.
Yeah?
I give the Eras Tour credit
Tell me
because if
more.
I would have never gone to that show and been mesmerized and just been captivated and then left with such a desire to want to meet you, I would have never went on here and told everybody how butthurt I was. You see you on the stage and you see how crazy you can get an entire stadium going. And then I get you in a room and it's like, I've known you forever. It's like, it was just the easiest conversation I ever had. And it was just so much fun that it just knocked my socks off.
Can you imagine being Jason listening to this?
Okay, well, let's do, here is Jason, because he was in a different city, but still kind of asking them some questions. He was part of the pod. Got a little awkward.
Hey, that's
Should I leave?
yeah, I think so. Honestly,
Oh,
at this
sorry.
point, I think everyone should leave.
That's how I felt listening to some of these cuts.
It's, listen, they're doing this publicly, laying out a little thick.
Or they like each other. I mean,
That's
again,
fine.
you have not, you and many people have
Yeah.
doubted this from the beginning, thinking it was orchestrated, it was this, it was that. They sat there last night holding hands, cuddling, goo eyes. No, not selling anything. We live in a world where people are literally trying to rewrite history. And these two sit down and talk about how great each other are and how much they love each other and to support each other. You've got a big, doofy football player talking about feelings and emotions and being like vulnerable. It got tedious at the end. It didn't need to be 90 minutes. I will give you that. But the beginning of it, he was funny. She was sweet. She looked beautiful. Jason was funny. There's nothing to hate here. And
I
you
can't
hated
believe
it
you
from
don't
the
like her.
beginning, Maggie Gray.
I don't know, 20 minutes in, I was like, I get why she's single. I'm kidding, everybody.
But you're not.
I'm kidding.
But you're not. No, own it. Own it.
Listen, it's fine. Okay.
Meg, I say
I
this
can't believe you don't like her.
I say this very politely, Maggie. And it's a compliment too, and I hope your husband's listening. When you talk about your husband, your whole face changes.
Yeah, I love him.
You do. That's what they're doing. That's them. That's you and Andy.
Right.
That's them.
And I'll ask you this question. When Perloff is out, is my husband here doing the show? No. Do I have to tell everybody how much we love each other? No. We have our relationship. We just go about our lives. And I guess this is the thing. We'll get into Taylor. She talks about football. It's funny when she starts talking about what a big Chiefs fan she is.
No, you're not allowed to do any of this positives.
That part was
Stay
fine.
in the negative.
Come over here. I love you. That's just a Friday night at our house. Come over here. I love you. So...
Andy, is she romantic?
No, I've already told you guys, I'm not a very sentimental person. It's one thing I wish I could change about myself.
Get over here.
But here's one thing that this is where it's not that I don't buy the relationship. It's not about that.
You don't.
This is where I feel like a sucker sometimes, and where you think that I'm being cold and heartless, I think you're being a rube. Because everything about her career is very calculated. Because you want to know what? She's really freaking good at this. She's good at writing songs. She's good at writing albums. She's good at selling them. She's good at being a role model for young girls and boys. And just, she's really good at being a pop star and a superstar. And that doesn't happen by accident. You have to plan this kind of stuff. So everything about his plan, the Easter eggs, she went into that yesterday about the little hints that she leaves and how calculated this stuff is and things that are planned out for literally years. So then you can't also tell me, it's just, we have this organic relationship and we're just like this. And all of this is completely just off the cuff and it's just happening like by the seat of our pants.
Wait, you want to
when there's absolutely nothing in her life that is off the cuff. Everything is planned. So then to tell me that this relationship is just this thing that's kind of happened organically and da-da-da, it's not.
You wanted her to predict down the road that she'd marry a football player? A jock?
No, it's just, don't sell me that, we're just two regular people out here living our lives when it's a lot more curated than that. They are regular people. They're celebrities, but they're people too. But this is all being very curated to be consumed by her audience. So
and me.
And the biggest Swiftie of all, Angie Bogish.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Believe Bilott's got something to say. Infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear this plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free. He misses Co-stars and the crew. Those were the days. Pete cries out, boo, boo. Bring it back, oh can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right.
Ruber showed up with a racket in hand, talking like he's finally the man with the plan. Said this year's mine, been training all fall. Daly just laughed, didn't sweat it at all. First serves in and the crowd leans in. By the first few games, it's looking like a sin. Rube swinging wild, chasing every ball, but Daly's got answers for them all. Rube just can't be Daly, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand's strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. Yeah. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat, Dubs on the mic, Perloff's in retreat. Filling in smooth, keeping fans on the line, taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6-love quick, no mercy shown. Rube is already wishing he stayed at home. Rube just can't be Daly, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand's strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat, Gubs on the mic, Perloff's in retreat. Filling in smooth, keeping fans on the line, taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another route. Daly's running Rube in and out. It's 6-love quick, no mercy shown. Ruben's already wishing he stayed at home. Rube just can't beat Teddy, it's a losing streak. Doesn't matter if it's here or week. Jumps running hot, Perloff's nowhere near, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. smile, no cheer. Daily just grinned. See you next year.
Many and each. Peter Bellotti, he made a prediction. Said that he gonna win. Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away. Won't own up to his words, can't face the dismay. He thought Miami would rise like the sun in the sky, but now he's got excuses, got no alibi. He thought that he
significant roadblock. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Bogusch in for Andrew Perloff today, and the roadblock is injury. Happens all the time in the NFL. It's an oblique strain for Shedeur Sanders, and while that's not a season ender, Bogues, or a career ender by any stretch, it's not great considering the timing. If you are somebody who's following Shedeur's story and enthralled by it, then you really needed him to be playing in these preseason games and be available for all these joint practices to even have a shot at the backup job, which was going to be hard to get. But now with an oblique, doesn't look like he's going to play in the preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday. And so a guy who was already buried on the depth chart goes even further buried on the depth chart, especially if Dillon Gabriel, who's getting healthier and was the 3rd-round pick to Shedeur's 5th-round pick, if Dillon Gabriel goes out and he plays well in a preseason, I think he has a real shot to get the backup role while Shedeur's recuperating.
Because Kenny Pickett's not healthy.
And Kenny Pickett still is not playing 11 on 11. So he's obviously, they don't feel comfortable with him rushing around or facing any kind of pass rush.
But that to me is still the headline, is Kenny Pickett not being healthy. If Kenny Pickett was healthy, almost none of these conversations could happen. They probably might still be happening, but they shouldn't. Kenny Pickett opening the door because of his hamstring to somebody else having to be the number 2 quarterback was the only path. It was not about production. It was not about practice performance. It was not about projecting or coaching or whatever. This is going to be Flacco and Pickett's show for the foreseeable future, no matter what. The only thing that's changed was Kenny Pickett's hamstring, which gave Shedeur and or Dillon Gabriel a chance to move up the depth chart more by default than anything else. So some things are different in the short term for Shedeur because he's missing at least a couple of practices and one preseason game at least. But the bigger picture for him is still the bigger picture, is biding his time, impressing with whatever reps he's going to get during the season in practice, and hope that at least 2 guys, if not all 3 ahead of him, fall out of the way for him to play.
See, I guess I always thought it was a little more predetermined than that. I can't tell you the exact date when Shedeur Sanders would have gotten a chance in the regular season, but I do think just by the comments that the owner has made that he and Dillon Gabriel were going to get a shot at some point when either the Browns were mathematically eliminated or maybe even before that. No one's really expecting a great season for them. And they want to see what they have in the rookies before they would use one of their second first-round picks that they traded for to try to get into the quarterback game for next year. I do think that's a thing. Also, in a couple months, I don't know if a lot of Browns fans are going to want to be showing up to the games. And Shedeur Sanders would be a reason to show up, even more than Dillon Gabriel. So if I'm an owner and I'm the one who's making money off the parking and the stadium and all of that, then I want to have some type of attraction. I think it's one of the reasons why Shedeur's even on the roster. So to me, I see the oblique injury and Shedeur's setback, and I'm like, well, there it goes. It was going to be a slim chance anyway for him at the backup job. And once the season gets going, it's really hard to get any kind of meaningful reps, right? You're most likely going to be scout team. And then when you do get thrown into the fire, which again, I think he will at some point, it's not going to look great because you're not getting developed, I don't think, during the season. I think it's very hard. Training camp, preseasons, these are the times I think when you can really start to fast track and fast forward a little of your development.
But the thing that you really should want for him is this theoretical 2 or 3 week tryout for 2026. And that didn't go away yesterday. That's still coming. Who cares? Who cares if he's the number 2 quarterback on paper coming out of
because you do get
camp?
Some reps as the number 2. Some, not many, but
sure.
some during the year.
But it really, if that's that's an empty achievement. It changes a little. It does not change a lot. He needs to be ready to play in November or December when they give these guys this presumed audition. then he can do with it whatever he wants. It's going to be tough no matter what, whether he's healthy now or not. Making his NFL debut at the back end of a lost season behind who knows what of an offensive line and who he's throwing passes to against defenses wanting to destroy him.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be bad enough. So the good possibility for Shedeur Sanders is still very much alive today. I get the immediate frustration of, if you're a Browns fan, of, oh, it happened again. And now, he's not going to go out there and carve somebody up again or 2 more times in the summer and get me even more geeked up to maybe somewhere soon he's going to play. But he's still going to play sometime soon. He's going to be on the field at some point in the season. It's impossible to think that he's not. I don't know what they hope for. I don't know if they have a specific calendar in mind, but at some point he's going to be out there. And that did not change yesterday.
Yeah, I think there was an idea, though, that he could. I think being the backup, winning the backup position would have been a massive deal.
But he wasn't. But he wasn't, Maggie. There's no way he would. I mean, I think EJ agrees with me. He was never in a perfect world with all 4 guys are out there and physically capable of playing. They were never going to list anybody other than Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett atop their depth chart when we got to week 1.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's not worked like that. Like the reason why he even got the shot in the first place is because of hamstring injuries, which are notoriously finicky and can come back at any time. So there was a lane, and Kenny Pickett.
But that's not winning the job, though. That's not winning the job. It's being put there because you have to be there, because somebody needs to be there. That's not winning the job.
Okay,
he wasn't going to win the backup job.
You know what I think?
But did Tom Brady win the job? Like with Drew Bledsoe, did Kurt Warner win the job with Trent Green?
You said winning the backup job.
Win the backup job. Okay.
He was never going to win it.
Well, this is why people like me were very frustrated with the Browns, because you were wondering, what does he possibly have to show you to make this a real quarterback competition, which the Browns said they were having, but then in practice were not really having. And that's where the frustration is. Kenny Pickett is not Patrick Mahomes. This is not some insurmountable person.
They're not Mahomes altogether. But if you can somehow combine the 4 of them.
That's true. But it's not like he had some entrenched, no doubt starter Pro Bowler who's there. In fact, the Pro Bowler who's behind him on the depth chart is Snoop Huntley, which is so funny. But you have Joe Flacco, who's the 18-year veteran. Of course, he's going to have the leg up. Taking out Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel in a quarterback competition doesn't seem so crazy, considering, I think we all agree, Shedeur didn't fall to the 5th round just because of football.
But to me, I think the lane closed to me, Maggie, not with this injury. It closed when, after he played the way he did on Friday, he's QB4.
Yeah, back to the...
to me, that's what, all right, well, this guy really didn't have a shot. Because, I mean, we talked about it when I hosted last week, that you expected he was going to play terrible because of the situation he was in. And a lot of people felt that way. And he goes out there with a lot of people expecting him to struggle because he has not played with a lot of these players. He hasn't been in a situation to start. He plays well, and they're like, well, we don't care. I'm like, well, then your lane is closed. You don't have a shot, really, at being a backup, because any team that saw a 23, 24-year-old quarterback with no reps go out there and play the way he did, you would rearrange things. You would start doing the QB2 or QB2 thing. You start doing this guy or that guy. They didn't even do that. They just said everything is status quo, even though 2 guys weren't even playing. So I saw that as, he has no shot here.
But guys, there was a time where Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel weren't practicing, so he was getting reps. You can label it however you want in terms of depth charts and whatever, but he was getting reps because at a time it was him and Flacco, and then eventually Snoop Huntley. So it wasn't like he was again standing on the sideline watching practice. He was getting reps, and we got way too worked up about that unofficial depth chart that we don't even know if it came from Kevin Stefanski. It came from the PR department. And, depth charts, they're literally a piece of paper that gets sent to people that they don't mean anything. They're not binding. They're not submitted to the league. You don't have to hold them to it. So getting worked up about where he was on that list was also, to me, like a waste of time.
Well, but here's where the disconnect, I think, is coming, which is to think that there aren't other factors at play in a depth chart. If you think it's not worth the paper it's printed on.
It's not.
Okay. Then to think that we know what the Browns quarterback situation is, or that there aren't other factors at play, or that the Browns couldn't flip-flop at any second where Shedeur all of a sudden is in play to be a backup, or any of that. You can't trust the Browns. This is not the Philadelphia Eagles. This is not a well-run organization. We had callers earlier who said, they should be relegated to NCAA. The Browns couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were the only team in the NFL.
They had 35 quarterbacks. All of them were losers.
We don't get calls like that about other teams.
Oh, no, they're idiots. And I don't know why they picked Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur. When they picked Dylan Gabriel, having already acquired Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, they should have thrown away all of their QB files. They should have taken nobody else. Or they should have gone, let's take Shedeur here in round 3 and then call it a day. I don't know why they did that. But in you guys defending Shedeur or, petitioning for him, campaigning for him, you're telling me, you're showing all the ways that they have actually been consistent about where their situation is, because they don't change the depth chart and they will not commit to more reps or less reps or first team reps or second team reps. They, aside from not saying out loud that Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback, they have actually been consistent in the hierarchy. And everybody else is jumping and dragging and going this way and that way.
Because we don't trust them, Bogish. That's the thing. Consistent. No one has ever said the Browns are consistent in their message, in their messaging, whether it was Deshaun, whether now it's Shedeur. You can give the Kevin Stefanski all the Coach of the Year awards you want. No one has ever said that they are a consistent organization or that you know what to expect from the Browns. That's just not right.
Obviously, they could do and change their mind at any moment.
Exactly. We're waiting for it.
Of course. No, right. But you're also you're waiting for it.
Well, until yesterday when he got the oblique injury. Now I'm not waiting for it.
And we're always guilty of overreacting or underreacting, but they're answering it. You're like, do this, do this, do this, and they gave you an answer, and then people are still going, do this, do this. You want them to move up, but they left them where they left them because that's what they're doing, because that is the situation. Win the second. He was never going to win the backup job because they keep telling you it was not open for competition.
Well, not true. They said it was an open quarterback competition, and that's the first inconsistency that you can point to where you don't trust the Browns, because they did say open competition and it's clearly not. And so now this is just another setback for Shedeur. You're welcome to weigh in.
This team couldn't win the Super Bowl if they were only team in the NFL.
888-710-4ISN. Let's get to more quarterback talk.
I feel so lucky to be the quarterback.
It's the position everyone wishes they could play.
Why can't I be quarterback, huh? Sit down and shut up.
But it's not for the faint at heart.
Quarterbacks are premium.
I think those things add up to make it quarterbacking the toughest job in sports.
Maggie and Perloff answer one big question about the quarterback.
All right, EJ, we're in the NFC South, so lay it on us. Who are we talking about today?
Okay, so we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, Penix.
And we have a question about the QB situation there, one of the more odd ones. Will Atlanta be vindicated in how it handled the Cousins, Penix signing, draft, and now depth chart situation?
Huge Penix fan.
Right, so obviously they signed Kirk Cousins to a deal of, I think it was like 180. I mean, it was a crazy eye-popping number when they signed Kirk Cousins. Then they decide, you know what, actually we like Michael Penix enough to draft him in the first round.
Penix.
And then it got real awkward because Kirk Cousins was blindsided about it. He was in his feelings about it. Falcons get off to a good start last year, and then the wheels come off because Kirk Cousins got hurt.
Are you fond of that?
But he didn't tell anybody he got hurt, so it got real bad until he was replaced by Michael Penix, and that is how things have remained. Penix is now the number one QB and Cousins behind him. So that's Penix has to also look really good. Yeah. It's not my fault that his last name sounds like
Penix has to look good. No.
Yeah.
I don't get
male
it.
anatomy. So, will the Falcons be vindicated? I don't think you will ever be vindicated because the process of this was always so silly, folks. Now, could Michael Penix still be a good quarterback, and could he still play well and be the quarterback of the future? Yeah, he could have. And he could have done that with a way less expensive veteran in front of him. You're never going to be able to convince me that the front office was sound or stout or anything in how they went about it. They could end up tripping into a good quarterback. And by the way, how they didn't realize that Michael Penix has some potential when he was literally playing in the national championship game in college football. I don't know how he snuck under the radar here.
This is Browns adjacent.
Yeah.
Like why they have both of these guys. The only vindication, obviously, if Penix is a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback and they start knocking the Bucs on the top of this division, then I guess they're vindicated that way. But like you said, nothing will ever explain how we ended up with both of these guys on the roster basically days apart. It's never going to make sense. I know you were sharing a theory yesterday about like the front office was distracted by the coaching search, but they should have been searching and breaking down quarterbacks during the previous college football season before they knew that a coaching change was coming.
That was Michael Lombardi's theory.
Right.
I can't take credit for that one.
Like I don't get it. Like if they liked Michael Penix that much, they shouldn't have gotten Kirk Cousins, and they shouldn't have discovered that Michael Penix was good after signing Kirk Cousins. Those things will never line up correctly, even if Penix ends up being this tremendous quarterback.
And then it's even still kind of interesting that they've kept Cousins on the roster this whole time. Now we'll see when the season actually kicks off, or if there's another injury or what have you.
Maybe the Browns need a quarterback.
Yeah, 7th quarterback. Kirk's expensive, though. All those other guys are cheap outside of Deshaun. Now, I think there are going to be a lot of people say, guys, why are you so caught up in the process? Who cares? If you land your quarterback of the future, isn't all forgiven, isn't all forgotten. I just would also like to point to the fact that we are not done questioning the Atlanta Falcons front office, who handed a first-round pick to the Rams in the draft so they could trade up to take James Pierce. So still some flaws in the logic and the thinking, in my opinion. Did they overpay to trade up for a guy who was falling because of character concerns? Now, we'll see how he plays. Maybe he'll play awesome. But no, I do not trust the Falcons front office.
Everybody knows the quarterback.
888-710-4ISN. Now, if Perloff was here, he'd be like, case closed. Falcons already won. Like, if he thinks that Penix appointed himself well in those last couple games of the regular season, and Perloff was a fan of the move at the time, to be fair to him. He said even the day after the draft, he thought that the Falcons did the right thing.
He was a player.
But it still doesn't line up correctly because Cousins wasn't there hanging on by, like, they just got him.
Yeah, coming off an Achilles, gave him all that money.
So simultaneously, they were evaluating free agent quarterbacks, tradable quarterbacks, and college quarterbacks, and paid a lot of money. They didn't sign Kenny Pickett and then draft Michael Penix. They paid a lot of money to get Kirk Cousins out of Minnesota and then drafted Michael Penix in a position where most people, they probably could have just taken Michael Penix, kept their mouth shut, said nothing about it, not gotten Cousins, and then plucked Penix out of that same spot, and often they would have went. And
this is becoming very dramatic.
No, they didn't fall in love with Penix until late in the process. Now, have you guys ever talked to a real estate agent about buying like a house or something like that?
I got no money. I got no money.
What?
Come on, Maggie.
Yes.
Have you ever talked to a real estate agent just in general about their jobs? And what they'll tell you about a house is that the day you buy the house, you actually have to be thinking about reselling the house. So the day you buy the house, you actually have to be thinking about the resale value of the house. I kind of feel the same way about Kirk Cousins. The day you sign him to a $180 million deal, you do have to be thinking, how would I get out of this if I really needed to? And we're finding that is very hard because they want whoever, if they trade with somebody, they're going to want them to take like $20+ million of Kirk Cousins guaranteed money for the season. And it's going to be hard to find a taker for that much money.
Plus, we're coming off the Achilles, which now we're on the timeline of the Achilles should be as little concern as possible, medically speaking now, but then whatever the elbow and shoulder were last year, plus the turnovers, he played well for a good chunk of last year.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of fell apart.
So he got hurt, but he didn't tell anybody he got hurt, so that was not great either. EJ, are they vindicated?
I kind of feel like they are, to be honest. Like I think
already, or they could be.
That they could be, and they're on their way to being, because I thought Penix looked really good too.
They almost made the playoffs.
Yeah. So to me, I look at the situation and say, look, they made a bad evaluation in terms of how good Kirk Cousins was going to be, but that feels forgivable. Like, he was a very productive quarterback before he tore his Achilles with the Minnesota Vikings, and they felt like they were a team, if they got the right quarterback, they could be in a position where they could compete for a playoff. Some people had them as like a dark horse Super Bowl team, and I do like their roster still. Drake London, Bijan Robinson, those are some serious weapons. So they got their guy currently while thinking, if we get Penix, even if he's good, we're not going to be a Super Bowl contender. We're going to be bringing in a rookie quarterback. So let's get a guy who in the next 2 years can play. And then we have a potential out. Yes, it's going to be $45 million in dead cap, but that's not $90 million, whatever it's going to be right now. We can move on from him there, or we can maybe trade him then when we're ready to usher in. How many of these teams get a veteran quarterback and have zero backup plan? Like none.
Right.
If you really liked Penix and you felt like this guy was a franchise quarterback, I don't hate the idea of him sitting for years. I think Tom Brady's right when he says we just throw these rookies in there, and I don't think they're better for it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes sat for a year, and he's the best quarterback ever. Like, I think
Patrick is crazy.
I think we need to see more of that. So I didn't hate the plan. I feel like they're on their way to being vindicated if Penix turns out to be really good because they got a guy who they could believe in.
Yeah, but he kind of got thrown into the starting job in the first season, and he played pretty well. He's an older quarterback who had a lot of college experience. I get what Brady's saying and what you're saying. Guys can sit, and that's fine. But he was one of the guys who I feel like was actually ready to go more than almost anyone else because of all the starting experience that he had. And they have a good offensive line and weapons. It was really just the defense. It was a huge issue for the Falcons.
For sure, but the ceiling was going to be super low for them once he played. Whenever he got in, you knew this was not going to be a team that was going to make any kind of playoff run because he's a rookie. Sure. Like, that's just the reality. So taking the risk on a veteran that you felt like could win now, I don't hate that plan. That plan didn't work. But the fact that they have a backup that they now like, I think it kind of did work in a weird way. Imagine if they didn't have a Penix right now. We'd be going in the year 2 of Kirk Cousins, seeing if he can come back. We'd be like the Falcons in one of the worst situations in the NFL. Now they're not.
Yeah, it's weird, though. It feels like he played more than he did last year. He only played 3 full games.
Yeah.
And the last 2, they were competitive games, and he threw under 60% completions, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. And I'm not saying it's not it felt like a rookie, and it gives you hope for the future. But when these conversations come up, it feels like he played a bunch last year, and it was so Kirk Cousins played longer too than I think we remember him playing.
Well, that's the indictment on Cousins and the whole team is that it was leaking for weeks before they actually made the switch. I mean, they were very, very late to doing that, and I think it's also because Cousins wasn't straight up about what he was dealing with. 888-710-4ISN. Have the Falcons been vindicated, or are they on their way because Penix looks like he could be good, and Kirk Cousins is just sitting there?
Because I thought Penix looked really good, too.
Is it good or bad that he's going to play for a long time? Are we going to get in trouble with Penix jokes, or the fact that there's always going to be Penix jokes is the real positive here?
What's the origin of Penix, you know?
Oh, what, the nationality of
right.
Penix?
O'Brien or,
right.
Scarpaccia or something like that. You kind of understand, what's Penix?
Feels British.
Could be. Do a little deep dive, little 23andMe on Michael Penix. 888-710-4ISN. Okay.
Wow, EJ's not wrong at all. The surname Penix is of English or possibly Cornish origin. It may be a variant of the last name Pinnock.
Are you amenable to that?
What made you think British?
If you're keen on that.
What I think British?
Yeah, how'd you come up with that?
I feel like they have those weird IX last
Brexit?
names. Yeah, not Brexit. No, not Brexit.
Same.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I feel like they have those weird end of the last name being IX. So I thought maybe this was an offshoot of that.
What?
You were right. 888-710-4ISN. Lots more to do, including we'll get to the college ranks. What would a successful season look like for these Power 4 teams? It's the Maggie Perloff Show. Bogish in for Pearl today.
Imagine if they didn't have a Penix right now.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
EJ's on the court, his knees in pain, but he's still hustling, bringing the game. Peter Schwartz, slow and bumbling by, with a hip replacement from an old Studebaker ride. EJ's the king and he's ruling this show. Maggie and Perloff gotta go with the flow. Fresh squeezed OJ, get it in my hand. Bow to your king, obey my command. But where's Peter Bellotti? AJ moves and he's got that hungry look. Sitting down for breakfast like a king in a nook. Give me that croissant and make it fucking nice. And don't forget that fresh squeezed OJ is my vice. He's just ordering big, what a fucking sight. $30 on breakfast, man, it's out of
Aya Maya Leava. Aya Maya Leava. Aya Maya Leava.
Jay's back, he's limping in, but he's ready to roll. After that knee took a hit, but it couldn't take his soul. He's been down, he's been out, but now he's back on his feet. Peter Bellotti's still missing, but EJ can't be beat. EJ's back in the game, he's pushing through the pain. Peter Bellotti's still MIA, but EJ's here to stay. The work don't stop, the show goes on. EJ's fighting hard from dusk till dawn. That knee might have tried to take him down, but EJ's the toughest guy around. He's clocking in, he's doing his time, while Peter's at home, sipping on wine. EJ's back in the game, he's pushing through the pain. Peter Bellotti's still MIA, but EJ's here to stay. The work don't stop, the show goes on. EJ's fighting hard from dusk till dawn. That knee might have tried to take him down, but EJ's the toughest guy around.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
He's doing his.
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Filling in for Perloff today, and we're making him feel
Let
at
the man
home
sing, Maggie.
by playing some DMB. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to lay out for Dave Matthews?
Yeah. Read the room.
We only have about 30 seconds anyway.
Wrong station. We got to talk about sports around here, or at least try. We're asking you today, did we already see the high point of Shedeur Sanders' season?
And this is the perfect song for that. It's about heartbreak and breaking up and missing things.
Like every Dave Matthews Benz.
No, incorrect.
like everyday method.
No.
Okay.
Fight each other now.
Let's not do this.
No, we can't fight because Dave will never let Bogusch come to another concert ever again. He kicks people out if you fight at his shows, which I get. We'll get to Gordon's got headlines for us in a moment, but Big Friendly. So our pal in California has called in because of something I said about the Rams earlier in the show. Good morning, Friendly.
Good morning, Maggie Malone, EJ the EP, Little Big Swifty, Flash, Gordon, and my man Manny Wapo. Good morning, and thank you for taking my call.
You got it, pal. What's up?
Okay, real quick. Am I the only one who sees Taylor Swift being set up to be Federlined? That's just me.
Wow.
Friendly. Don't ruin Bogusch's day.
Hey, Boguesy Oaksy, you know I love you, man. I got nothing but the utmost respect for you. But I watched that podcast. I watched that podcast last night, and all I kept thinking is he should be a backup dancer on his way to court.
Federline, by the way, that's a callback to Britney Spears' first husband.
Are you talking to Manny right now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just letting the audience
direct
know.
eye contact with me, like if I know. First husband, second husband, I don't know.
We need a sounder for that. Like, it's time to teach Manny. Let's learn him something.
What happened to that guy? He's
You don't
probably
wanna know.
made out pretty well, no?
He's chilling.
He
got half.
He did what he was supposed to do. He got paid and went on vacation.
Yeah. Man, Federlined. Never heard it used
Okay,
like
real
that.
quick.
Okay.
Okay, I'm a woosah. The only time Kirk Cousins should suit up in L.A. is if he's going to the ESPYs. Magsy, you brought up the little rift between Jimmy and Devontae in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Come on, we've all had that coworker that we like that has bad breath, so we try to stay kind of far away from.
Friendly. I don't put it out on a Netflix documentary. The guy was throwing me hospital balls, and I thought I was going to die out there. That's worse than just some bad breath, my friend.
I know, but real quick, and when you guys get me off the line, can you please answer this question? I know there's a lot of what ifs about Jimmy G, and the reason why I'm talking about Jimmy G is because, yes, right now Stafford's hurt, so to talk about him is to like talk about your ex with your new girlfriend. It just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So now I would ask this. I understand that Jimmy G has an injury history, but can you say that Kyle Shanahan, I can't keep a lead hand, is a better coach than McVay? Because I think McVay would put Jimmy G in better situations. And I got to go. Thank you for your time. Flash Gordon, my man, you look like a aged Perloff, but you still the man. Don't let no one tell you different. Have a great day.
Friendly. That's not so friendly. Disagree.
Look, I've been called worse.
Strong disagree on that one. Friendly also, the nicknames are great. We do love a Flash Gordon. It's pretty good. Nothing will top Zackety Doodah, which you came up with earlier this week for Zach Gelb. I don't know why that fits so well.
Oh, I do.
There's nothing doodah about Zach Gelb, but Zackety Doodah was like, he was born to wear that nickname.
I don't know. Zach's a pretty cartoonish guy. He's oversized. He's loud. He just barges through doors and walls, skipping and whistling. Zackety Doodah.
Zackety Doodah. Zackety A. All right, Gordon has headlines for us. And by the way, we were just talking quickly about could Kirk Cousins be a trade target for the Rams if Matthew Stafford is going to be out for a while. Back to you, Gordon.
All right, 113 days. That's how long it's been since April 23rd. That's how long the Dodgers had been in first place, but not anymore.
Fly ball left center. Teodosio's closing. He's there. He's got it. Say goodnight to the Dodgers. This is heaven for the Angels. They have swept the Dodgers all year long.
Yeah, that the call on the FanDuel Sports Network for the Angels. Angels finish off that sweep of the Dodgers. Like the Angels announcer finally had something to celebrate for the first time since who knows when.
Yeah.
That was a night where L.A. had Shohei Ohtani on the mound, but that loss combined with the Padres just blasting the Giants 11-1. So San Diego now takes over first place in the NL West heading into that series. Dave Roberts, though, doesn't sound too upset about it.
It's going to turn, but I know Max said it yesterday. I've said it before. You can't feel sorry for yourself. And that's something that I don't expect from our guys. And we've got a big series coming up. And those guys are playing great baseball. it's going to be, crazy at Chavez Ravine, and our guys will be ready.
Padres on the loose. Let's go, Goose.
I just wonder, do we get another potential manager fight here? It's kind of like goalie fights. Like, they happen so rarely, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. How long ago was that series? It's a couple of months. A lot more on the line now, so if anybody's going to be feisty, this would be the time to do it.
I'm here for it.
Make it 12 straight wins for the Brewers, 12-5 over the Pirates, one shy of the Brewers franchise record. I was looking for longest winning streaks in Major League Baseball. I think there might be something wrong with me. The Indians in 2017 won 22 in a row. I have no recollection.
I think it was early in the year, too, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Well, how did the season end?
They didn't win the whole thing. This is the lesson of
I
the
know
Brewers.
that.
Yeah. I was just shocked that there was a team that won, because most of it's 1880, the White Stockings or the
Cleveland
St.
Spiders.
Louis Maroons. Yeah.
Down goes Anderson.
Yeah, Buzzsaw McGee.
Down goes Anderson.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I have no recollection of it whatsoever.
This is like a Shane Bieber situation?
Maybe.
I'm trying to think. 2017 was he even on the team?
Was Francisco Lindor on the team?
I
Or
would
was
think
he a
he
Met by
have to
then?
be,
Yeah.
right?
No, he would have been on the team. He didn't get traded to the Mets until 2020.
Good heavens.
Now, the A's won 20 in a row in 2002. That sounds vaguely familiar. The A's would get
Moneyball.
hot late in the season at
Yeah.
times, make the playoffs, but the Indians, I have no recollection of it whatsoever. Astros beat the Red Sox 4-1. Mariners lost to the Orioles 4-3, so Houston once again has the top spot in the American League West despite all their injuries. Sportico released their rankings of the NFL teams. Now 3 NFL teams valued at over $10 billion. Obviously, the Cowboys number 1. Any guesses for 2 and 3?
I have a guess. I think the Giants are in there, even though the Giants have not played well in the last
Ding. That is a correct.
decade.
I don't have the Family Feud ding, but yes, that would be number 3 on the board.
So they're 3.
3 at $10 billion. So
NFL
Cowboys
franchise owner,
1.
right?
Yeah.
I want to say
Giants
the
3.
49ers.
Incorrect. Right state, wrong team.
Rams.
Oh, the
There you
Rams?
go.
Oh, 'cause of
the
LA.
stadium and all that type of stuff.
There you
So
go.
there you go. All right, those are the 3. Golf first round of the BMW Championships gets underway in a little under an hour. Of course, all eyes on Scotty Scheffler there. And Venus Williams, apparently bored in retirement, returning to Grand Slam tennis, has been granted a wild card entry into the U.S. Open, in case you're wondering. I don't know that this is appropriate to just be blasting people's age on the radio, but Venus is now 45.
Yeah.
With athletes, you really can't hide.
Yeah.
You can't be coy just because she's a
No.
woman,
Flash Gordon.
It's a fair look. You want to be in the big leagues. You that's
Well,
part
here's
of the
the
deal.
question. When's Serena coming back?
Never.
I mean, Venus, okay, loved her, changed the game. But the Serena comeback is, I think, the one we're all waiting for, no?
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Ever?
I don't think so. I think
She's
this is,
gotten really fit of late. I don't know if you've seen the picture of her recently.
people have been
Easy,
wondering
Jay,
what's
easy.
going on with how much weight she's
I'm
lost.
just saying, she lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Maybe
A lot
she
of-
doesn't feel like she needs to be like on a. You know how much athletes eat?
It's that diet, yeah.
Yeah. Even tennis players, like you're burning so many calories.
You would know.
I would.
Yeah.
I used to go to tennis camp and these chicks would house food. It was crazy.
These chicks with house food.
Mag's
I'm
like me.
serious.
Mag's like me.
Really,
Iron chicks.
all she did was just get a weighted vest, and she was okay.
And then you're good.
Can we get her to spend some time with Zion? Because I don't know if you've seen the recent
Wow.
pictures
Wow.
of Zion.
He needs a weighted vest.
Is he going up or down?
Going up.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
never- yeah. I mean, at least by the pictures.
Also, why does he always look so lit, man? What's wrong with that guy? Why does
man.
Perloff like him so much?
Cause man, Bourbon Street.
Because he dunked once.
He did a 360 and dunked the ball
And
really
that's
hard once.
all
That's why
Perloff
Perloff
is needed.
I think we're still waiting. He's kind of like Trevor Lawrence at this point. Like, we're still waiting, You don't want to totally sell your stock because at any moment, if he gets everything right and together, it's like, aha, this is what we remember.
At least Trevor plays.
That's true.
Like, if I was going to see a picture of Zion, even if he was heavier or slimmer, I just wanted it to be serious. He's wearing sunglasses the size of Texas, shirt open.
Yeah.
I mean,
It doesn't
Is
feel
it
like he
even a
gets it.
shirt?
Socks and
I thought it was just like a
slides.
jacket. It doesn't even
I
seem
mean,
like
what
a
are
shirt.
you doing, bro? Big Z, Z logo chain. I mean, he's enjoying his summer, but it just feels like he's been through too much. He needed a summer where it was going to be super serious.
Damn,
If he's heavier, okay, fine, but he's working out in the gym or whatever. If you're lighter, great. You're working out in the gym. I didn't need to see him with the man with the solo cup next to him. Like, come on, bro, what are you doing?
He looked like Rick Ross in that picture you have up.
I was going to say he looks like Big Papi. This is what he looks like to me. He's got the big poppy glasses on. He's dripped in diamonds.
Got the
he's
goatee
wearing,
now, too.
He's got the goatee. He's wearing a flashy outfit.
Big Dominican lunch with Big Poppy.
This is Big Poppy vibes all the way, just not the production. Big Poppy, one of the great postseason players of all time. He needed a Luka summer.
Definitely. Every time you've seen Luka, he not only is he being trimmed, he's also like wearing athletic gear. It's like he looks like he's always on his way to the gym. I feel like he went on the Today Show. It looked like he was going to go to the gym right afterwards. Like,
Which the irony is he took a month off from basketball, right? And he said it was hard, but maybe the best thing for him.
Yeah, Zion looks like he's going to the swim-up bar.
Yeah, he definitely is. This looks like a Vegas pool party outfit.
He looks like Rick Ross.
To a Tagovailoa.
I don't know why that made sense there, but it was still funny.
QB Alabama.
Big Poppy, Zion Williamson, same.
No.
Anything else, Gordon? Good?
I'm good.
Very good. Thank you so much. Coming up, we head to the college.
Gordon.
We head to the college ranks, and what would a successful season look like for the following 4 Power 4 teams? We'll tell you.
Zackety doo dah.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the Hyundai Getaway sales event going on now. Get deals so right it almost feels wrong. Don't miss out. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. Maggie Perloff show. Perloff out today. Andrew Bogish is hanging out with us in the host chair. Let's get to some college football, shall we? Found out last night apparently Taylor Swift scouting college for the Chiefs. She knew who Xavier Worthy was when he was drafted by Kansas City and apparently was very excited about it. So watching Texas football, watching the combine, maybe?
We drafted Xavier Worthy.
She sucks, you're right.
It's funny, the football parts of the interview yesterday on the podcast, I actually found funny, and she didn't know anything about football, first downs, nothing. And she learned that and she's into it. That was a nice thing to do for your partner. You don't know much about what they do.
Now he's her partner, not just
Josh
her co-actor.
Well,
I mean, your quarterback is at home pretending to be Shia LaBeouf in Transformers movies, and you're out there pointing fingers at Travis Kelce?
I'll say this about Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld. I don't see them doing podcasts together.
Josh Allen's here.
Do we even know a lot about their wedding? Basically, Deion Dawkins is the only reason why we even knew they were getting married and what day it was or any of that stuff. They keep it pretty low key.
Mr. Tokyo Drift.
Those photos have gotten around.
Yeah,
And videos.
Like of what? But like we don't know anything else. We don't even know everyone who was there.
If he hosted a podcast, she would have been on it by now. She was on Travis's podcast. They didn't go on like Call Her Daddy or anything like that.
Yeah.
She went on his podcast, which is connected to their relationship.
Yeah, to tell us about an album. 888-710-4ISN.
Which you thought was going to turn into
crypto.
Creams and crypto.
I'm still a little surprised.
Because you're definitely not against them at all.
No, I thought they were going to end up selling us crypto. Turns out they were just trying to get us hooked on sourdough bread. A lot of bread
The
talk.
sourdough's taken over my life in a huge way.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to college football. Okay, we're going to ask, what does a successful season look like for one team from each of the Power 4 conferences? EJ will give us the team. Bogish and I will tell you what's a successful season.
Okay, so let's begin in the SEC. A successful season for the Georgia Bulldogs will be.
So I think most people would say, gotta be championship. This is Georgia. At one point, they were the new Alabama, and the expectation is championship. I actually think Final Four. I don't think anyone's getting crazy about that. Now, that's still going very, very far. We know that they have a loaded roster still, and Gunnar Stockton now is going to be under center. I think if they're Final Four, I don't think Georgia necessarily has to win another national title, Bogues, to like prove anything or, none of those other championships were flukes. I get it now in the NIL era. There just is more parity. But I think a Final Four appearance is fine. I don't think anyone's asking questions.
I would go with you there as well. Specifically, I'd say they might want to beat Alabama. I think it's the last 5 years they've lost 5 times, and 3 of them are to Alabama. So it would.
Well, that's because Smart couldn't beat Saban.
Yeah. So it would behoove them to keep going and beating Alabama. That's an early season meeting, late September, and that will help them get into the playoff to then get into the Final Four that we think they need to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rich, too, to say Final Four. Is there really a big difference between Final Four and champion? But I think when you're talking about Georgia, there actually is. Who's next, EJ?
All right. Do you think Taylor Swift knows about Dylan Raiola? I know she's friends with Patrick Mahomes. What would a successful season look like for the Nebraska Cornhuskers?
I'm going to say with, first of all, having their quarterback be in the Heisman ceremony in New York. Not win it, but get enough votes that Raiola is actually there in a suit watching somebody else win it. And let's get them to 9 wins. That used to be the magic number for this program. They were like, it's like 34 out of 38 years at one point winning 9. They got to 7 last year. And I think a bump up of 2 wins is a nice ask of Matt Rule's next season in Nebraska.
I think they got to be an at-large in the college football playoff. I don't know if they have to win the Big Ten. That's going to be hard to do, but an at-large for sure. There's 2 things that are coming together here, maybe even more than 2. One is Matt Rule, year 3 in any of the college programs that he's coached. The year 3 is the gangbusters year. Add into it, you have a 5-star in Dylan Raiola, okay? True freshman starting last year, took a couple lumps, now back for season 2. Dana Holgerson now starting as offensive coordinator from the very beginning of the season. This was not a bad defense, and the O-line taking guys in the portal from Alabama, Notre Dame. So that's probably, and has to be a very good thing. So I'm going to say at-large bid, college football playoff. I think that's successful for Matt Rule.
All right, let's get to Fort Worth, Texas. How about TCU? A successful season for the Horned Frogs would be.
I think everybody in the Big 12 kind of has to be in the mix, right? This is a league that has so much parity, and where a team last year that was picked to finish last ended up winning the entire thing. So with Josh Hoover, who is a very good quarterback, I think that they should be in the mix for the Big 12 championship. So ipso facto, also the college football playoff.
Yeah, I didn't know how to quantify that. I mean, 8+ wins is obviously the requirement here for a team that has a returning player, a good player at an important position, which again has been, for whatever reason, annoying me extra through all these preseason projections. How many teams don't have a quarterback? Yeah, we love them. TCU has a quarterback. You've already mentioned Josh Hoover, one of the more underrated players in the conference, in the nation. So they've got that going for them. I don't know that they're good enough to really truly be in contention, but it is easily the hardest conference to predict.
Yep.
The Big 12. So almost everybody is in play. So it seems almost like a cop-out to say just be in contention. But with that kind of quarterback play, they're going to have a better chance on most Saturdays than some other teams.
So you're saying 8 wins, or you're saying college football playoff?
I'm going to go 8 wins. That's a good number. The playoff seems obviously with the automatic spot, but I want a team. They're not a team that should be in regardless of winning a conference championship. That makes sense in terms of whether they're an elite team, truly deserve to be there. I don't want somebody to backdoor their way through a Big 12 championship to get there, winning a very complicated and parity-filled conference. I want a team that really deserves to be there. I don't know if they're in that class of team yet.
Who's last, DJ?
All right, and finally, let's go to Tallahassee.
Do we
a
have to?
successful season for the Florida State Seminoles would be.
Not setting fire to the place. I mean, this is 13 wins to 2 wins. Is 5 wins good enough? Is gaining 3 wins? Maybe just having Mike Norvell solidify-ish his job for next season?
No, I mean 5 wins. No, that's another disaster, and he's fired after that. It's got to be minimum bowl eligible. I mean, they've got to look like Florida State again, and to me, that means you are contending for an ACC championship. That's it. That's the whole deal. You've got to be in there with the likes of Miami and Clemson and SMU. And we'll see what happens with Belichick. But at North Carolina, Duke, whatever. But you're not going to be as good as Clemson, but you got to be in the mix. You're Florida State, for goodness sakes. That has to look like a one-year blip. That has to look like the outlier. So to me, you have to be in contention for the ACC championship.
That is some roller coaster. 13 wins to 2 wins to 11 again?
I mean, if you can fall off the table that bad, can't you get back on the table?
I mean, and they spend as much money as anybody in the portal, and they, it's still Florida State. But I'll hedge my bets a little bit. Bowl eligible, I can settle on that, but not winning the ACC.
6th ranked best portal class this offseason. Added Gus Malzahn, who has familiarity with Mike Norvell. They coached together in Tulsa. I mean, Thomas Castellanos is no
thanks.
Interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't love the fact that after he got benched at BC, he just left the school. But second chances, young people.
And he couldn't hold on to the job at BC. So you got him leading a team that can compete in the ACC?
It's Florida State, man.
He got this job because he beat Florida State.
Yeah, he looked great in that game.
Yeah.
He looked good
Hard
against
pass.
Florida State the year before, too.
That's true.
And then he didn't remain BC's starting quarterback.
EJ, were we off on any of the big ones? You think Georgia's a title contender?
I do. I'm just not sold on Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
That's why, for me, a national championship, maybe not so much. I think you got to get back to the playoff, though.
No doubt.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not like sneak in,
Yeah.
but like, a solid top 7 seed.
Coming up, get to the Cowboys. Of course, we got some news for you there, and also a little inspired by Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and the big reveal on the podcast last night of her new album. What was the biggest reveal in sports?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Yeah, well, everyone's really distracted by this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce podcast thing from yesterday. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Out today, Andrew Bogish sliding over. The bigger thing here with Kelce in the last week is not he and Taylor sitting together talking about sourdough bread or her now learning what a first down is or all that stuff. It's actually Kelce admitting that last year, his head was not all in. You know, he did this big spread, Bogues, with GQ magazine. We kind of made fun, and I definitely made fun of some of the photos that just look so silly. But
P.S. There was a chest hair joke or two in this thing last night.
He did. I know, top 5 chest hairs of all time. Guys with chest hair in sports.
Never did that list.
I know we never got to that list. Maybe there's still time today. It was harder to come up with than I thought.
Shocking.
And I'd like to stay married. No, I'm just kidding. But I think the funny thing about Kelce, the real story that everyone's missing.
Is Andy feeling insufficient after your chest hair love yesterday?
Great.
Okay.
The reason why I think we're all kind of missing the story is we were wondering if this high-profile relationship was going to have some kind of impact on Kelce. Add into it his age. Yet the Chiefs rolled. You know, they won 15 games last year and got back to the Super Bowl. And yeah, they got crushed by the Philadelphia Eagles. But I think it went a bit under the radar that Kelce's offseason was not all in. He was traveling the world with Taylor on the Eras Tour. And he finally admitted in this GQ article his head was not into it. His fitness was not where it needed to be. We all saw it on the field. But he finally admitted it and said this season it's going to be different. And I ask you, do you think he can make good on that prediction?
I think he can make good on the prediction. He's not going to go back to being obviously like peak Travis Kelce, but his numbers last year were super down. And so I think they go back north of him being a useful player, him being a productive player, him being somebody that impacts basically every game that they play. And I know the headline here is that maybe he let things slip. It's the tale as old as time, like boy meets girl, boy likes girl, boy loses attention, everything else. And like
got obsessed.
We've all done this. I'm sure you've had whatever, and like for you forsake your friends for a little bit, like, hey, come back down to earth or whatever. Everyone has been in this position. The headline to me is that he recognized it and that he's owning up to it and that he's trying to fix it. And as much as we're getting of them right now with the podcast and the Davy Crockett hat and the chest hair in GQ, we didn't hear from them for a long time before this. Like, it seems like he was, in addition to making sourdough, like in the lab, like getting him ready to play. So I do think that he has fixed it to the extent that a old Travis Kelce can fix it. They just love each other.
I think the other part,
sweet.
And we found out last night that Taylor's parents both had some health issues this summer, so she was kind of wrapped up with that. But I think the other part too is, do the Chiefs need 100% Travis Kelce to actually win? Now, they got pretty damn close with him not being the all-pro that we are used to seeing, but I still think they need him because now the biggest place where you're going to see Kelce show up is not regular season stuff, it's postseason. And he had one good game against the Houston Texans last year with 100 yards receiving or close to it, but the rest of the playoffs, he was kind of a rumor.
Yeah.
So I think, to me, it's about Kelce in the postseason, and yes, they still need him to be that guy if they want to win again. And I'm assuming now he rides off into the sunset and goes off on a win, and like they turn the page to just post Kelce.
They need him to be someone you have to game plan for.
Yeah,
like he has to remain a weapon. It might not look like 10 catches and 100 yards and touch, but he needs to be a concern for the other team, so that he gets attention and it lets other guys who are better in the moment do their thing. If he becomes an afterthought, that he's just not a dynamic player, you don't have to do any extra attention for him, then that becomes a problem for them.
One thing that Taylor may have kind of stumbled upon yesterday, and Manny, I'll hear cut 8, please. So Taylor has before she met Travis, no real understanding of football, wasn't really in her DNA, to the point where she thought that quarterbacks were on the field at the same time. So here's Taylor.
I thought that the quarterbacks.
I mean, that's how you played it on the playground growing up. So I understand if you hadn't
No, you
really
don't understand.
been,
I thought it was like Jared Goff is here and Josh Allen's here, and they're gonna be like, they blow a whistle and then they go at each other and they're like, and it's like, who's gonna win?
That's actually.
I would love to see Jared Goff play some defense. Let's see Jared Goff on defense.
I've got some ideas. I've got some thoughts.
What type of gladiator stuff is she into?
I was going to say, Taylor, you animal, you maniac. We've got to protect these quarterbacks at all costs. She wants them out there like Roman Coliseum days.
Because the beginning of the story was she asked Travis what it was like to literally face his brother in the
line
Super
up
Bowl.
across from your brother. And they said, well, we both play offense, so we never actually were on the same field together. But I kind of want to see this now.
Yeah. Let's go.
And Taylor kind of trip into something here. 2 quarterbacks at once. It's kind of like that dumb scene in Top Gun Maverick where they're playing football on the beach with 2 footballs.
It kind of reminds me of a goalie fight.
Dang, girl.
Reason, the way she described it.
Yeah, kind of. We love those.
We do love those.
Are they like throwing crisscrossing passes like in Top Gun
I
in
think
this
so.
fantasy as well?
Well, I mean, in her fantasy, I think they're like jousting. But no, I think 2 footballs. Oh, let's get weird.
Hey, if she's
Everybody
rooting for
knows the
jousting,
quarterback.
that's another thing that you and her have in common
What's
because
that?
you love violence. You're usually rooting for blood, for destruction, and here she is asking Jared Goff and Josh Allen to get into the octagon.
I don't love violence. It's I need to see something bloody. It's
Stand by for the
covering sports. That's how I get my fix.
You were happy that Kyle Filipowski got run over by the Clemson fans.
Listen, head on a swivel, Filipowski.
Dang.
Even your old girlfriend has to tell you that.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
That's violence, too.
You're welcome. All right. Taylor has us thinking about other
Scoot my seat to the left.
great reveals.
A little more gap between us.
The great reveals in the history of sports. That's kind of where we're getting at with Taylor. She revealed her 12th album yesterday, and that was the whole reason she was on the podcast, not just to talk about Travis. But, Bogues, if I asked you what was the biggest reveal, craziest reveal, however you want to take that in the history of sports, what do you got?
I was trying to remember like a moment where I was literally like lost my breath over like somebody's like opening up a curtain or like yanking a sheet off of something and going, oh my God.
Scooby-Doo ending?
Yeah, I didn't come up I didn't come up with that, Velma, but I did the 92 Dream Team. I mean, I loved the NBA growing up, and the 92 Dream Team was like the peak of like 12-year-old me's NBA infatuation. So
I remind you of Velma from Scooby-Doo.
So the first time that they were kind of like all together in uniform and like the camera's like panning down this like platform of guys. And so it's, I mean, and at that point, like it wasn't like
you knew the roster, though.
Right? But like to see them in uniform together for the first time, not the like straight reveal in the true sense of the word, but like that moment was pretty dang cool.
Yeah, probably the opposite for Isaiah Thomas, but that's
Who
good
cares?
for you. He was famously snubbed from that
Met the
team.
criteria.
Angola also didn't like it.
So we were talking about like the biggest reveals of sports. Probably not surprising because you guys think I have a black heart. Mine went to something a little bit more shocking. I don't want to say sinister, but something that was a little more like
more violence,
like jaw dropping. And I think it was when we first found out about Tiger Woods. That was such a stunning.
Which part?
When his wife shattered the back of their car because he was sleeping with the Perkins waitress. That part.
Oh, okay.
But you know, yeah, you're right. But maybe that's a
Do
good
you remember
point.
the golf part, Manny?
Hardly.
There was like a
You used to golf?
It was like an avalanche. And I think the beginning of that with the shine and the sheen coming off of Tiger Woods when we found out so much about his personal life, to me, that was like a bombshell. It was like such a reveal. Like this person who we thought they were was secretly someone else. Now, there was a lot of judgments made about him at that time, and I think maybe we've come around a little on that. The guy was clearly dealing with a lot of stuff. But that was so shocking because his image had been so lily white, you know, just so pristine. So I think that was probably the biggest reveal for me.
That would be a good Scooby-Doo ending. Somebody just pulled the nice tiger golf face off, and there was like twisted.
Hugh Hefner?
Even Hugh, I think, would be like, damn, man.
No, still tiger,
chill.
but, there is an altered tiger and maybe, with a wandering eye as opposed to like the concentrated, focused, determined Sunday red T-shirt tiger.
It reminds me of Velma from Scooby-Doo.
It's kind of crazy to remember Tiger as a family man, but that's what they were pushing.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine that now. I only know it because I was alive and actually old enough to remember that. But I mean, this is a guy who's he's got a blonde on his arm every 10 months. It feels like.
Oh, wow.
I know. Well, but then this is why I think it was the biggest reveal. It was like a reveal of someone's real life because I don't think there were even like real whispers about that. There's some other things like you'd say Lance Armstrong getting busted, for doping and stuff, but we kind of knew. Like it was big eyebrows raised on that, but with Tiger, really felt like it came out of the blue. EJ, you got a better sports reveal based off of Taylor Swift revealing her album last night on the Kelce Brothers pod?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't old enough to remember it, but I know it was a big deal. I think Jordan coming back the first time, I think you talk about reveal, right? Like just the facts.
Man, yeah. I'm back.
Like, and then like just the world just exploding. Like, I feel like that has to be when you think of like a reveal or an announcement. It doesn't really get much better than that, right? Like the greatest player, arguably the greatest player of all time who left to play baseball. You could argue maybe the baseball one was also a big reveal.
Yeah, him retiring in the first place was a huge shock, but the reveal of I'm back on the fax machine. Is very much
the ultimate baller move. It's so iconic that now anytime somebody on social media wants to announce they're returning something, they just take the Jordan fax thing and make it their own because it's so iconic. So that to me has to be up there.
You talking about the shoe guy?
Yes, the guy. Yes, the guy with the shoes. Concord, Space Jams, all.
It's the I'm back is now shorthand for anyone coming back, and the taking my talents somewhere is like the new thing for when anyone leaves. That was Kobe first, and then LeBron did it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. LeBron, renting out a Boys and Girls Club in Greenwich, Connecticut, out of all places, to go tell everybody that he's taking his talents to South Beach. That pulled me back a little bit.
Shocking. Because even at the very, very end of that, when I think Stephen A. might have had it, like that was literally within the last hour. No one really had LeBron go into the Heat. It was one of the best kept secrets.
And then we had to spend the next 55 minutes talking about what? Because that was an hour-long special, and it took him 5 minutes to announce it. And then what are we doing? We're just sitting here with our hands crossed.
You know what's funny about that? I went back and watched it recently. I don't know why. It must have been a great debate or something we were doing. Why?
Yeah, because you need to talk to somebody.
What?
Why would you go back and watch on top of listening to like preseason NFL radio broadcasts?
I like the away call. You learn a lot. But
I like the away call.
I'm bored. It's 2025. What should I do? I'm going to watch The Decision.
It's not as bad as people remember. They don't talk for that long. They take a commercial break.
There is a commercial break.
There's a commercial break.
I remember.
But Jim Gray, it's not embarrassing. It's a couple. LeBron just looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And his IFB's not working, like the earpiece, so he has to take it out, and then it's sort of dangling there.
Not 2, not 3, not 4,
and then this.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
He's a showman, when the crowd's getting hyped up, got to do it. But it's not. The decision is not as awful as we remember it as far as a TV show.
Did they ever win the 4th and 5th and the 6th and the 7th?
Still waiting on those, Manny.
Yeah.
Another underrated one I think that people forget in terms of a big reveal and announcement.
Cleveland!
Him coming back. That was
Him
a big
coming
one.
back was a big one.
This is for you.
Lee Jenkins,
Yeah,
I believe.
Lee Jenkins cover story.
Yeah, and then A-Rod admitting to using steroids was big too.
Oh, I was young. I was stupid. I was naive. Yeah.
Cousin Yuri threw him under the bus.
Yeah, Cousin Yuri. I wonder where that guy is.
Witness protection.
Somewhere under the water in the Caribbean.
No, I was going to say
or
either
living large, right?
Living large,
Yeah.
maybe. Depends if he got paid to go away.
In Bozeman, Montana, perhaps.
I mean, A-Rod, he was, obviously like a massive star.
But there were whispers, though. Like
Right.
Selena
Oh,
Roberts had
Canseco.
chased it down. Canseco said that it was in Canseco's book. It was still to watch him say it. I'll agree with you.
It was just because, Canseco, even though he started to look more right because of what was happening with Sosa and McGuire, I think he was still like an unreliable source. So I think people were like, well, is this really a thing? And A-Rod, I think we didn't know how phony he was at that point in time just yet. I think he was still kind of likable. I know he had to deal with the Yankees. He just started having issues with Jeter. But I think who we think of A-Rod is right now is not who we thought of when he sits there and says, I was young and naive and stupid.
Right.
Sorry to make it Yankee-centric again, but when Roger Clemens showed up at George's box and Susan Waldman went absolutely crazy, I feel like that. I mean, that was a hair before my time. But I mean, that still feels, based off of Susan Waldman's reaction, sounds like it was a big reveal.
No, it was a huge moment. And it's funny because Susan is obviously a legend. She's a Hall of Famer. The TV call gets nothing there. I don't even know if it was on TV.
Yeah,
all I know is that this is a radio
themselves.
only. This is only, as far as I'm concerned, Roger Clemens was only on the radio that day. I don't even remember a TV call of it.
Imagine, though, that we lived in a world where, like, we got reveals like this a lot. Like, instead of a Schefter tweet, like, literally the Broncos were like, we have an announcement to make. And then you'd go there, and there'd just be a silhouette behind a curtain, and it would drop. You're like, we just signed Peyton Manning. Like, what? How did that happen? Where'd that come from? I thought he was in Indianapolis.
Man, it'd be so much better.
Oh, it'd be way better than this, what we have now with the Schefter and the Sham.
I mean,
we can't have surprises anymore because everything is, there's always something before the actual announcement.
I mean, Luka, that was a pretty big shock, but
yeah, but that's not a reveal.
No,
though.
it's not a reveal. That's very different.
Yeah, that's a transaction among teams.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Right. The only thing that we get now that there are announcements and they're oftentimes like kind of bad things, like I'm sick or I did this happened or I'm in trouble or I'm retiring. Like, no one just gets traded out of nowhere. You're like, look who we have. And it's like a new closer.
Speaking of reveals and retirements, two other ones are Ricky Williams and Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck was shocking.
Crazy, and Andrew Luck was also crazy. The Ricky Williams one was insane.
It was. He leaves, he shaves the dreads off. Everyone's like, what is he, smoking marijuana? Little did we know that was going to become a lot more palatable.
I mean, he had just come off another 1,000-yard season. I mean, he was a superstar.
He was
running
miserable.
back. And then he had the suspensions. And we're like, all right, well, he's going to miss the first 4 games. He's like, nope, I'm out.
Like, imagine if Taylor Swift put a message out like, hey, Swifties, there's a countdown on my website. 3 hours from now, I'm making an announcement about my husband. And the clock hits 0, and all of a sudden, Travis Kelce comes walking out.
Like, if we didn't know they were dating?
Right.
Oh,
like, that's the reveal. It's like, I got a boyfriend. You'll find out in 3 hours. And you go back to the website, and out he comes.
Roger Clemens is in George's box, and Roger Clemens is coming back. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Perfect. Perfectly summed up the moment there. Really. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Based off of Taylor Swift revealing her big 12th album yesterday on the Kelce Brothers podcast. What was the biggest?
And I'll write your name.
TS12.
What was the biggest reveal in sports to you? Not a trade. That doesn't really fit here. Just something that just was stunning.
We drafted Xavier Worthy.
All right. We got a lot to do, including a Cowboy Quickie, which comes your way next.
Josh Allen's here.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Cowboy Quickie time. Micah Parsons still locked in a contract dispute, Bogues. I don't know if you heard about it. He and Jerry with a standoff.
The linebacker?
Yes.
They're messing with him?
Crazy
He's
as
their
it
best
sounds.
player.
Penn State product?
I know, and the season's about to start. But anyway, so Micah
How
Parsons.
soon is the season?
Micah Parsons asked quickly yesterday by reporters any update on the contract, and his quote was, "My mouth is closed." That's it. That's all he wanted to say. Just a quick no comment. That's your Cowboy Quick.
And kudos to him. That's exactly what he should be saying now. He said his piece 2 weeks ago. I want to be traded. They're not talking. Jerry Jones is saying weird stuff about their non-talking and how important things are, and there's no deadlines, and reminding me he has a contract.
Micah Parsons.
He's said enough. This should be his answer until he signs a contract.
Here's Jerry, says there is no deadline about Micah Parsons to know whether he'll be available week 1.
Is there a deadline to know whether Micah Parsons plans to play in week 1 or not?
No, not at all. You don't have deadlines when you're playing under a contract.
Okay, more from Jerry on if he expects Micah to play week 1.
All you got to go on are contracts. And we are negotiating for a contract. Well, when you do a contract, you would hope that after a negotiation, that's what both the team and the player look to see what our obligations are. And so I have a lot of respect for a contract.
So there you go.
I mean, those are direct shots. That's the most negotiating through the media he's done that I can think of in the last couple of days. Normally, it's like nonsense. That's like, hey, dude, you signed something. Get back out here.
Which is funny because Emmitt Smith was on the red carpet recently when they did the whole Netflix Jerry Jones documentary reveal, premiere, excuse me. And he was asked like, oh, people are comparing your situation to Micah Parsons' situation. And he said, no, this is very, very different. He was implying that he was not under contract at the time when he held out for the first 2 games and that he kind of, in some ways, kind of sided with Jerry, sort of like, hey, you are under contract, so it is really up to Micah Parsons to show up.
Yeah, Emmitt did not hold out. I don't remember this being the setup, but I can't believe that it was. So his contract ends in 1992, and then there's a window where teams can offer him a contract,
right.
But no one did because they knew the Cowboys would match because that was allowed. Like, Cowboys could match anything or I think get draft pick compensation if you signed him. So nobody offered anything. So the window then closes,
and he's got no leverage.
Screwed. He's got nothing. He's got nothing.
So he ended up holding out, and then he ended up getting.
But he didn't. No. Well, that's his defense.
He said he wasn't holding out. He didn't have a contract.
I couldn't play, and they went 0-2, and he got a little leverage back. And then I wrote it down because it was an astonishing number. So Emmitt Smith's coming off. This is peak Cowboys dynasty.
Yeah.
He's Emmitt Smith already. All this drama.
Joe Barrows.
The contract he signed after all of this was for 4 years and $13.6 million. It
was a different time, but you can't apply 1993 prices to 2020.
What's that with inflation?
4 years, $136 billion, it feels like. 13.6 mil over 4 years.
Listen, running backs just aren't valued the way they used to be.
They never were.
It does feel quaint.
That's not even 30. Oh, my goodness. $3,400,000?
It's a different time, Manny. Milk cost like $1.50 back then.
I think they brought it to your front door back then still. A guy in a truck, yeah.
The cream on the top.
Yeah, with the glass, the bottles.
Yeah.
Guys live in the 1930s. Did you guys see World War II?
Who was the first $1 million athlete? In my mind, it's Dave Winfield, but I don't know if that's actually true. Or maybe it's Reggie. Maybe I'm
Bobby Bonilla.
No, he's $1 million a year for the rest of eternity.
Easy.
Just asking a question.
I don't remember who the first $1 million athlete was. Maybe.
According to AI Overview.
Oh, we love that.
This is interesting. Don Carter, the professional bowler.
Doesn't count.
Because he had a $1 million endorsement contract.
Who do you think you are? I am. Don't be a jerk. AI overlord.
I know in baseball, according to the Baseball Hall of Fame, Nolan Ryan became the first $1 million man in baseball.
I mean, he only played for 50 years.
That was in 1979.
Is that cumulative?
1979, man.
And I'm sure people called up Sports Talk Radio and just like, overpaid.
He only threw 400 innings last year. Why are you giving him $1 million?
7 complete game shutouts. Anyway, let's get to Gordon Damer. Gordon, we're talking about sports reveals off of the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, her revealing her album yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Any big reveals that you, the biggest one?
Think of?
Yeah.
Flash Gordon.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the
Flash
spot.
Gordon, yeah.
Good topic.
Thank you.
Well, I want to come up with something that was not, the most obvious in the world. I'd have to think about it. Best reveal.
Yeah.
Like when you say reveal,
not like a trade, just like like I said, Tiger Woods when we found out about his personal life, it was like, it was stunning.
I floated around Susan Waldman's reaction when Roger Clemens was seen in George's box.
The first one that comes to mind was when Hollywood Hogan was revealed to be the third man in the ring at Bash at the Beach.
Only problem is that's not sports.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
well, it's sports entertainment. It's the first word of sports.
This is Hogan turns heel, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it was, what was that,
Can't
2006?
That was a really big one.
96.
That was huge.
EJ, is that the most shocking wrestling moment?
Yes. I think without question.
Oh.
Like, I think it changed the landscape of the business.
It's like Who Shot JR, though.
It was scripted.
And it was entertainment.
Right.
It was in competition.
Oh, my gosh.
Sports.
There's athleticism involved. There's physicality involved.
But it's not sports. That's fine.
Jesus, give me a break.
Sports entertainment. Sports is in the title.
No, but
Their title.
On this one, Bogusch, I'm going to
be what everybody calls
because it wasn't. It was planned, so you can't say that it was a reveal to the audience.
It's a
but
good
it was
reveal,
scripted.
right?
Oh man, does it count? Anyway, let's get to Gordon's update. What's going on today?
Folks, we talked about the baseball this morning.
If you mention the Mets again, Gordon, you have to leave.
No,
okay.
I will. I promise you, there's nothing in this update about the New York Mets.
I'll reveal this is your last update.
Yes, it absolutely is. We talked about the Cowboys and Micah Parsons, but you might be wondering, like, what else is going on in the world?
Mendez scores, and Paris win the Super Cup. The Champions League winners are victorious against the Europa League victors.
Heartbreak.
Left the
Tottenham
building.
Hotspur. I think that's how you say it. Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, Tottenham.
PSG rallies from down 2-0
to
win on
turn
penalties.
His mic off, Vogue.
It's an amazing reveal.
I just did.
Takes the 2025 Super Cup for the very first time. Spurs were brilliant for about
Stupid cup, it's
75,
called.
80 minutes, and then just a meltdown late.
They were up 2-0 in the 85th minute, and they collapsed and choked just like Spurs is accustomed to. How, Bogues? How?
Gordon, do you even know that any of that
I
happened?
have literally been asking ChatGPT, how do I phrase this so I know what it sounds like? I know what I sound.
How do I be a jerk to Andrew Bogusch without mentioning the Mets? Oh, soccer.
Well, that was actually Chat Manny that did that.
I was going to say, ChatGPT does not know sports well enough.
You're welcome, America. You're welcome.
That's a bummer.
This day began with Manny complimenting me, and I said, I don't believe you. He said, no. I'm a new person. I listened to Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror yesterday.
I did. Changed my life.
And so I was like, okay, well, then thank you. And then the day will end with him literally authoring a shot. I hate Manny through Gordon Damer.
12 straight wins, magic number down to 36 for the Brewers, who continue to roll. 12-5 over the Pirates. Christian Yelich, 3 ribbies. Still waiting for word from George Webb. We still do not have an updated date or time.
Come on, George, get to work.
The burger joint in Milwaukee that is now going to give free burgers. I did have a question, though.
There's a bunch of very nervous cows somewhere.
If they continue to win, is that a new 12-game winning streak, or do you have to now lose and then start another one for it to happen again, or does it just continue to happen because technically if you win 14 in a row, that also is 12 in there somewhere?
It's just burgers for life.
Yes. Can we put George Webb out of business by the end of the baseball season?
Wow.
The unintended consequences.
Look, you know.
All of a sudden, it's like when Tony Soprano got a hold of like
butterfly effect,
yeah,
right? Yes, absolutely.
It's all that you mean to have a good thing. I don't know. Is there some like car dealership somewhere that has like free Hyundais if they win 20 in a row? That's suddenly very nervous.
They should be. Padres Dodgers open up that series tomorrow night in L.A. Dodgers will open the day looking up on San Diego in the National League West standings. Dodgers lost the Angels yesterday 6-5. Padres over the Giants 11-1. How often would you say you go out to dinner with your spouse?
Not enough.
Probably at least twice a month.
Okay.
Like on a date almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm out.
Not necessarily date, but just go out to dinner maybe with another couple.
Yeah, not enough.
Another couple.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
tough.
that's a
You gotta get
longer.
babysitters and such.
Yeah, that's more like
I'm not in the time of my life when this is good.
No.
It used to be all the time.
That's the same case for Adam Schefter. He now no longer, because of his job, goes out to dinner with his wife.
We are very content never going out. So literally, my wife is a homebody, and that works well with the job because inevitably we'll be at home and stories will happen, and I don't have to feel the guilt of being out to dinner. Like, I've had it happen so many times now where I've been out to dinner with another couple, we've been in a group, and I'm like, excuse me, I have to go work on something. Like, it has happened too many times to count.
Sounds fun to be married with him.
I was going to say, I wonder if people who are out to dinner with him get a charge out of that, though.
I
Because
would.
it's like, oh, this is cool. I'm having dinner with Adam Schefter, and suddenly he's breaking. Lamar Jackson signs a $250 million contract or something.
The first
when we
take
were
crew.
at, Calle Ocho.
The first take crew loses their mind whenever they see Schefter look down at his phone and he gives the finger rub. Give me 1 second. They go crazy. Oh, he's breaking news. He's breaking news.
There should be a secondary market for people following Schefter, watching him work and go, Schefter's about to break news. Like it's a pre-tweet. Like something's happening. Get ready.
Schefter alert.
Yeah. He should not be going out to dinner. They have 4 dogs. That alone, I wouldn't be going out to dinner. But
That's a lot. I think that there's something to take it back to like regular people, not Adam Schefter. There is something, and I do it, and my husband does it, so I'm just as much an offender as he is, which is when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, but they get distracted by the phone. And I'm not even breaking the Lamar Jackson news,
Right.
but I can tell how annoying it is when you get pulled away. And then sometimes my husband will be scrolling or something, and I'll try to have a conversation, and you got to like, hey, do you guys notice this with your significant others?
Oh, you know what I do when that happens? I say something extremely out of pocket that like doesn't make sense. Right. I'd be like, you know,
aliens landed on them. Yeah,
I think I'm growing a 12th toe. I think we're on a 12th toe. And Andrea's like, what?
Don't forget about
while
Shiloh.
I have your attention, the dog has a veterinarian appointment tomorrow at noon.
Oh, you're listening to me now. Good.
That was a courtesy of the Mental Game Podcast. So there you go. My big thing is I make sure if we go to a restaurant that has TVs and sports is on, I will make sure I'm not facing the TVs.
That's good.
Just because I do not trust myself.
Oh, you'll just get like
right. After all, I might watch another Met loss.
Something like that.
Or Spurs.
Or another Tottenham loss.
Yeah, a couple of hours apart. At least I was asleep for the Mets collapse.
Do you guys like going out to dinner with other couples?
Depends on the couple.
Yeah, I think.
I'm okay.
I'd rather
out.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'm just asking her if she's out. She's good.
No, I did something early on before we were married. I did something once, and I think it was kind of a faux pas, and I realized I couldn't do that again. But again, we weren't married. But like, I have my friends who I met first, and they're my friends, and now they're my husband's friends. We've been married for so long, and I get that. But in the beginning, like, we would have plans to go meet people, and just I would show up, and they're like, "Where's Andrew?" I'm like, I didn't invite him. And so then I was weirdly third wheeling it, but I didn't mean to. It's just like, you guys have been my friends since college. We're catching up. Like, I'm almost not going to subject him to this because we're just going to be talking about all the people we know. Now I'm in too deep and he knows all these people and he's heard all the stories. But in the beginning, it didn't occur to me to invite him.
So you're like, I'm going out with Melissa and Tom. He's like, okay, great. And then he's like, but you're not coming?
No. It was like, this is my friend from college, like my two friends from
college.
college.
Was she bringing her spouse or significant other at the time?
Yeah, it was this one particular instance where they had just been together. The other couple had been together forever.
So they're like one
just
person.
Just me. I had been friends with them for 10 years before my husband ever met them. I'm like, all right, I'm going out with Emily and Josh.
Did he have a problem with that?
No.
But they did?
He probably wishes that he got spared from all that stuff now.
I mean, when I go out with my friends, I usually will say, Andrea will or not be showing up to this.
I realized that that was my
do that
bad.
almost every time now. Yeah. Like I think once you become a unit, there's an expectation that you're a unit.
Oh, now we're attached at the hip. Now I'm saying then, and I realized it was kind of a faux pas.
Your boyfriend, like your boyfriend. Then, like, was it a big deal already?
I mean, he was my boyfriend. And then I just showed up, and they're like, table for 3? Like, sorry, guys. You
watching
wanted
from
Andy
the window.
Here. Sorry.
He's the better draw.
He's a way better time than I am, that's for sure.
I was like the mental preparation of knowing, like, what's this hangout going to be like? Like, once the spouse comes, okay, that's a different expectation of what the conversation is going to be like, what I can talk about. Like, if my friend, like, brings his wife to something, it's like, okay, I know, like,
this is what we're in this lane.
These lanes can't be talked about.
A lot of sourdough talk.
Yeah, we're not talking about the college years. We're not doing, like, there are things I know.
Yeah, I'm infamously single here on the show, so I don't have a spouse, but I'm big on who all gonna be there. Why are you guys laughing at me?
It's a good thing to know.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to know what the vibe is, because if I know Shelly's gonna pull up, I don't want to go.
Shelly sucks.
Shelly does suck.
Yeah.
Is that a man or a woman?
Doesn't matter. She could be Shelly Duncan. You never know.
That's the AAA manager of the Yankees.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Deep cut.
I don't even know. My head's spinning now.
What do you do? What do you do if you don't like your friend's like spouse?
Yeah, break up.
I've never had
torture.
that.
It's torture. I only have one, and we don't actually go to dinner often at all because we don't live in the same city. But it is tough if you really don't like the person, like being at their wedding and just like, oh God.
Oh, wedding is
what a mistake.
But like wedding, like you have no choice, kind of. But like, what about like a hangout though, or like you're going like that? That's gotta be worse in theory. Because at least with a wedding, you say, okay, well, at least my friend's happy. This is just, I'm supposed to be happy, and I'm miserable.
That's what alcohol is for.
I'm miserable being here. Oh, there you go. That's why I don't get it.
It's another thing you're missing.
There you go. Makes sense.
There's so many pluses, EJ.
Yeah, it's like you are way more interesting after 3 glasses of wine.
Or less terrible.
Just more palatable.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds familiar.
Sometimes, though, you just kind of age out of them. Thankfully, as you get older and everyone's got kids and other things going on, you just, stupid Rick or whatever, he just fades out of the thing, and like, you can avoid him.
Poor DiPietro.
Yeah, you see him less and less. No, that's blossoming.
Oh,
That's
is it
new.
your relationship with Rick DiPietro is blossoming?
Well, fingers crossed.
Oh boy,
We hear a lot about him on the text thread. A little
Twice.
too much.
Twice.
good looking dude.
2 instances.
Gordon, you work with DiPietro.
I did, yeah.
Funny dude.
He's very funny.
He coaches Little League with
As
Bogish.
if his personality matters. It's also travel baseball. Little League is for novices. Maybe.
Sorry.
He's an Adonis, according to Bogish.
He is ripped.
Yeah.
There was a softball game we were playing one time. He was at second, and I was in the outfield. And while I was going for a pop-up, my entire thought process was, do not run into Rick because it will not end well for me.
Hit a brick wall.
Yeah. It's like when C.D. Lamb got trucked by that referee the other day. We don't want that to happen.
No, I would not fare as well as CD, obviously.
I don't know, Gordon. You might, if you hit him, he might break his hip again.
Hey,
it's
being kind here.
Have you not taken
buddy.
enough shots at Andrew today?
Yeah, what's going on over there with you?
Also,
full of hate.
All hip jokes are held for Peter Schwartz around here. That's the hip joke monopoly. Okay.
I don't know that.
Pico de Goyo.
Oh my God, you don't know this?
Peter Schwartz, a fill-in update anchor?
Peter Schwartz, I mean, that's the understatement of the year, fill-in anchor. He's a legend. He broke his hip playing beach football with his kids.
Oh, that's painful.
Very painful. But in true Peter Schwartz fashion, when he was healthy, they went back to the same patch of sand and completed the play that they were running. So Peter could finish it off and like complete his recovery. It's one of the, and it's not even, that's not even the best Peter Schwartz injury story.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Like
I guess it's a
redeem himself.
mental hurdle that you're getting over.
Right. Alex Smith had to get back into the NFL. Peter Schwartz had to complete a pass from his teenage kid on a Long Island beach.
Kind of a boring guy.
But honestly, to break your hip on a beach, you're so far away from any kind of medical help.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have the lifeguards, but you got to get your butt off the beach.
Is that a lifeguard problem at that point? Lifeguard's water.
Imagine that. Lifeguard's like, I'm not doing this.
I'm not doing this.
I'm a water only.
Yeah.
Manned pee.
You got to get the sand people. I don't even know who those are.
Different lifeguards?
Absolutely.
They don't even know how to
That's a
swim.
different
I
category.
do the water.
Those are the guys
No
that
way.
drive the bungee, the Jeeps or whatever.
Yeah, ATV.
Yeah, those ATVs. Those guys
I'm
that drive
a
around
water-only lifeguard.
Sorry.
I love that.
Imagine the sand guy comes, someone's drowning, just like, I'm the sand guy.
Yeah. Sand guy's sitting around most times doing nothing. This is the one time it's bad for. Yeah, we got one.
Your mouth to God's lips. Your mouth to God's lips.
There is no one like Peter Schwartz.
Yeah.
No, thank God.
Sucks he broke
Thank
his hip,
God there's
though.
only one.
Power forward center Victor Wembanyama.
You could do a whole, I mean, that's not even the best Schwartz injury story.
What's the best injury story?
When he tripped on a Manhattan sidewalk and cut his hand on his way onto the holiday party here that he wanted to go to so badly, he went to a vet that was the closest medical office nearby to see if they would stitch his hand so he could get to the party.
Did they stitch his hand?
That's not my fault.
I think somebody eventually did, but
Sounds
not
like
the
Better
vet.
Call Saul, where he's like going to a vet to make deals.
It's like a mafia movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a front. He went to a vet and said, would you patch me up?
So I could get to the Entercom holiday party.
Did he show up to the holiday party with the big cone around his neck?
Let's check out your little paw here. I mean, hand.
All his medication has to be taken with food. Little pill pocket.
This is a Seinfeld episode when Kramer's got the same cough as Smucker's the dog.
He walks in, he's like, out of here, Spike. I need to get my hand fixed. He just shoves a dog out the way.
Zachary Risache.
You went to a vet?
Well, time was of the essence.
You might as well get a needle and thread from a bodega.
How long ago did this happen? He had a cell phone.
He was trying to be efficient.
And we still want to get to the party.
Wanted to get to the party.
Was he walking past the vet?
Why does he think people want to see him with a big club on his hand,
What
too?
is the mental process that says, I cut my hand, I need to do something quickly,
Free
get me
food
to
and
the
drink,
vet?
I gotta
Also,
get there.
Yes.
Holiday parties are the worst. Like, who's rushing to get to a holiday
Well,
party?
around here, and they come like once every 4 years, you better hustle to the one that happens.
I was at that one. It was 100 degrees in that room. 888-710-4ISN. But thank you, bosses. 888-710-4476. It was great. I loved it.
RIP tag. That guy stuck. RIP.
I felt like I lost 10 pounds in that party because just sweating. It's my best look. Okay, coming up, lots to do, including a question about the possible MVP. Maggie Perloff.
Sean Gilgeous-Alexander.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
And he said this song changed your life yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Life-changing. Open my third eye.
All right. And how you're going to change? Like, you're going to become a better person now?
Probably not.
Well, that was honest. We're asking you for what is the greatest sports reveal of all time? Taylor Swift revealing her new album yesterday on the Kelce Brothers podcast. That's not going to make our top 1,000, but still got us thinking. Dominic is in San Francisco. Dom, what's the biggest sports reveal?
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
Yeah, because I'm trying not to laugh here. I got a warped sense of humor. My friends and I were sitting around watching this. We were all in shock and awe when it was finally revealed that Tanya Harding was the person behind the bashing of Nancy Kerrigan's leg.
Yeah. Oof. Was there a moment for that?
Yes.
What was the, because forgive me, because 1994, I was a little young. I've watched the movie now, I, Tanya, and I understand what happened, but it was Jeff Gillooly,
Wasn't it the
right?
Olympics?
What's that?
Wasn't it the Olympics?
Well, that's when she got whacked. But when did we learn that Tanya Harding was behind it? Was that a little bit later on?
I don't want to be vague and say shortly thereafter,
Yeah.
but it was
No.
shortly there.
Dom, it's a great one.
It was shocking.
It's just absolutely crazy. Thank you for the phone call.
So the incident happened in January 6th, and then she confessed on January 18th.
Okay, so yeah, very close.
So pretty close, yeah.
That name is impossible to ever forget. Jeff Gillooly. Such an odd name. I, Tanya is a great movie. EJ, you put it out on the internet, the best sports reveal, the biggest one. What the people give us?
Yeah, plenty of really interesting answers here. So one of them was the LeBron James decision, which we talked about earlier. Also, Mike Vick signing with the Eagles. I was stunned.
Then he got a second chance after going to prison.
And I'll be honest, I think him also reaching that plea deal was also, I think, a big deal.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson, HIV has been mentioned. And one we didn't mention was Pete Rose's gambling scandal. That being revealed that he bet on baseball.
Yeah.
Was also
I gave Joe DiMaggio a shower.
That's the other thing, though. So for the Pete Rose stuff, was it one moment that shocked people, right? Or were there drip, drip, drip coming out, like maybe rumors, stuff like that? I don't know the answer to it.
Neither.
But that's why I was thinking for me, the biggest reveal was the first step of the domino that fell with Tiger Woods. The first step is that his wife is bashing his car windows out. And obviously there's a reason. Then you pull the thread and you realize what's going on, where he's having all these extramarital affairs and all the stuff that happened after was so shocking. But that one moment of her jacking up his car is the moment.
Yeah. I know. This Scooby-Doo thing is just great. I just wish we could really have, what?
Just rip the mask off. Old
Here's
man
your new
Withers.
coach. Boom.
Yeah.
It's funny, that Tiger Woods thing, the one random detail about that always reminds me of just how frightened he was for his life was that, and Jim Rome always mentioned it, was that he was driving barefoot.
Yeah.
Which is probably why he crashed the car, right? Because, not an ideal situation. But he was trying to get away from her so fast.
She had a golf club in her hand.
Yeah. Exactly. He was trying to get out of there.
I think also he was asleep, if I'm remembering that detail.
I believe so, yeah.
Either as asleep or he was passed out or something, and she found his phone.
Phones always get you.
Yep.
I mean, and Perkins has never recovered. I can't, not that I see them all the time in New York, they're not around here, but if I'm ever in a different part of the country and I see a Perkins sign, the first thing I think of is Tiger.
Wow. There's plenty in Lehigh Valley. I don't even think of Tiger. But
really?
Immediately.
I don't. When you mentioned Perkins earlier, I was like, wait, really? I don't even remember that. Okay, cool.
Kendrick Perkins?
They might as well have a Tiger-themed menu at this point. They should just go all in. I mean, like
it's like the Master's plate.
Yeah, I mean,
something homage to Tiger.
The cheating deadpan.
Change their color scheme to orange and black. Like it's a Tiger.
Everything's red on a Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
a bowl full of shame.
You do red velvet pancakes.
Red velvet pancakes, red velvet waffles
Only
on Sunday.
Sundays, though.
It's your birdie burger.
Employees wearing Sunday red tops.
Thank you, EJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez. Thank you, Andrew Bogusch, for filling in the last few days. It's been great. Gordon Damer, Andrew Kaplan, the Weedos, the Coffee Drinkers, everyone who contributes to the show. We appreciate you. See you tomorrow.